And hello, officially starting the talk, connecting the dots in this crazy world. So I am going to prepare or present my view on the bigger picture. I'm going to share my slides and we'll get going. So my aim with this presentation is for you guys to understand that we can solve problems differently and live much better. And most importantly, we can have it all: the money, the love, the health, happiness, everything we want is there for us to enjoy, really. So what I prepared for you is to discover a different perspective and understanding of the world where we live in, the real reasons why we're here, and what we can do to reverse is probably not the right word, but to improve things. Why you didn't get all that you wanted and how to get it. Why it's almost impossible to know the truth, what is good and what is bad. And great news for the future of self-selected people. And of course, you'll understand which are the self-selected people. The most important question to ask yourself, and in fact, I have three questions all linked. And the strategy that absolutely everyone deploys that leads nowhere and that you need to stop right now. The most important thing to focus on so we're always happy, and the invisible force that runs your life, and how to master it so you can live it well, better. You don't really need the information I'm going to give you, but you need the transformation that it brings, hopefully for everyone here. Just a quick disclaimer. Everyone here has a different point of view, different beliefs, and that's okay. I don't want to get you to believe what I believe. And my aim is really to get you to expand your horizon, to ask yourself more questions and get more answers and different answers to before. For those who want to move forward, to live better, I will present my proposal at the end. This talk is totally free, and there is no obligation for you to do anything, to purchase anything. You can just say, thank you very much, bye-bye. But I will make an invite for whoever wants to work with me, who wants to carry the journey carry on the journey that we started just now. There will be the next step that I will present for you. This is how I now live my living. This is what I actually focus on and do. The movement, the Be Free movement, is something that I developed because I was in pain and suffering, and I got results, and I want better results for everyone on the planet. So whoever is ready, I'm happy to support whoever wants to. So be aware, in this talk, and not only in general, you filter the information that you see and that you interact with based on your beliefs. You don't hear certain things, you don't see certain things, actually many things, and you will seek the information that validates your beliefs, which is absolutely normal. It's what every human being does. Now, the question is, may I challenge your beliefs? And that's a question that I need an answer to, please. And please put a yes or a thumb up if you're happy for me to challenge your beliefs. I have few thumbs up. More thumbs up. Okay. Is anyone that doesn't want me to question their beliefs? Monica, of course. Super. So let the journey begin. I start with something which is very controversial, but not from that point of view at all. With COVID, which in a way or another affected our lives. And the point related to COVID that I want to emphasize is that it's really an invisible virus. something that we were not aware of, we didn't know it was coming, we could not see, we could not touch, we could not feel, we could not hear. But somehow, most of the lives have been affected. Lockdown, one way or another, impacted, in a good or in a bad way, or both, impacted everyone. Most people did some life changes as a consequence of lockdown and what happened. So really the question is, what else is invisible and locking you down right now? Life is and will be beautiful. And when I make this statement in all my presentations, many people will go like, so many problems. How can you say that? Is it hard to believe? Yes. But hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll see that it's actually true, and it can be true for any single one of us here. There are 3 categories of people, and of course, nothing is precise, and I don't want to put anyone in any box, but I do want to make some kind of distinction now. There are people who are indifferent to what's happening in the world. Who cares what the politician does? Who cares about the war in now Israel, Russia? It's not really affecting me, so I just carry on with my life. And that's okay. I'm not criticizing. I'm not questioning anyone. I'm just observing. The other category is people that are consuming a lot of information that is classified as conspiracy theory, which is not really conspiracy theory. It's a lot of the facts now, but it's not true, most of it either. So just want to acknowledge that there is a lot of information that is not seen in the mainstream media, that if you only look at the TV or the normal radio and whatever the official media is presenting, is just one way of looking at the world. The conspiracy theory is looking at the world from a completely different angle. And then there is also the category of people looking into spirituality, embarking one way or another on the spiritual journey. And I want to know where you are. If you want to put in the chat box number 1, 2, 3, or all of them, or none, just so that I know what to focus on more. Because I've been through all of these categories, and depending on most of you where you are, I am going to go into more details from one point of view or another. So we've got 2, 3. Thank you, Alexander. I'm waiting for more answers, all of them. Okay. It's just a number I'm looking for, guys. And I'm waiting for more numbers, more responses from you. 1, 2, between 1 and 3. 1, 3. I was spiritual long ago and still am. 1, 2, 3. All of them. That's super cool. I love you guys. So it's very, very diverse. So I think we'll have some fun. My presentation is catering for everyone. And my promise is that you'll have loads of insights, regardless of where you are. You will find a little bit of information that you already know, just because I want to have everyone together and start on a journey together and move forward. So it doesn't matter where you are here because you know something is not right. Some people know it's not right. Some people are like, what's going on? Just out of curiosity, has anyone paid attention to the profits that British Gas has recorded? This article shows in its Guardian, so we should pay attention and they say the truth, apparently. 969 million pounds profit for British Gas, given that our bills are, 5-10 times more than before. The profits of British Gas increased by 900%. And of course, it's an information that people don't pay attention to what's happening in the world. Like, well, who cares? Well, then why did they increase the bill so much if their profits increased that much? Shell representatives, I've been chatting to them and challenging them for my bills because they overcharge me. They're not putting their names in emails. And I challenged that. And they said to me that that's their policy for their protection. Why do someone that works for Shell needs to protect themselves and not disclose their identity? Just a question. Bank accounts are being blocked. And you may be aware, you may not be aware, but it's happening. It happened to Canadians. There was in pandemic, the truckers did a protest and lots of people sent them money, and everyone that sent money got their accounts blocked, of course, the truckers as well. But that's not just one thing in Canada, that's actually happening around the world. And I hear friends of mine, their accounts are being blocked, closed, no explanation, just like this. And if you do some kind of trade or commerce and you use the bank not just for paying the bills and getting your salary, you probably have noticed that they ask for much more information about you and your transactions. They monitor us much more closely. I don't want to go in the conspiracy theory. That's not, the presentation is not about that. I just want to only mention some facts. And they close accounts to companies. They ask you to provide updated information about your identity, and especially not in the UK, because in the UK it's more centralized and they get that information, but out of the UK, especially in Romania, every year or so you need to provide information, updated information with who you are, basically. When you make a transfer, they ask you to say if it's product or services you're paying for, and if you know the person, and it's like, oh, we protect you from scam. But it's more steps. And if you buy products, they don't allow you to pay, not if you buy a pair of shoes from Amazon, but if you do it in a bigger volumes, they don't allow you to pay unless you prove the origin of those goods. And it's happening in many countries in certain industries, as far as I understand. So banks are not just providing services for money, they are doing much more than that. Thames Water. Someone close to me asked, they again had the conversation, they challenged them and asked, what's in the water? They wanted Thames Water to produce a report, or to give them the report on what's in the water. And that's absolutely normal, right? Because it's the water you drink, your kids drink, it's something that comes in your body and it may affect your health. And the response was, national security secret. We cannot give you that information. So drink the water we give you, but we don't tell you what's inside. But on the other hand, the banks ask you to prove the origin of the goods when you buy in bulk. So from my point of view, something is not right. And yes, there is an increased number of deaths, especially unknown causes. Of course, it's not information that everyone would see easily, but if you start looking a bit, you will see that. The statistics are published, it's just that it's not something that normal people would search or care. But that's one interesting statistic, the last one. In the US, they have $5 trillion in assets, and with these assets, they are backing $155 trillion of debt, and 40% of the assets are student debt. So just wondering, how is this possible? And if most governments borrow, where do they borrow from? Okay, they borrow from the large institutions, you'd think, the IMF, World Bank, and who's financing those institutions? These are just some questions. I don't want to enter into detail. I just want to raise questions for those people who are in the category of indifferent. And that's the last slide about it, I promise. Times Water keeps telling us quick ways to save money and save water. Why do we need that? Why do we really need to put just a little bit only for a cup in the kettle when we make tea? It's actually training us to live in scarcity. They teach us to be counting the pennies, and not pennies for money, but pennies for water, turn the light off, pennies for electricity, we use everything. But on the other hand, the billionaires of the world travel in private jets and they enjoy yachts and other super, super expensive stuff. Billionaires are getting richer and consuming more. So are you not tired of it? And the final remark is, that was the terrorist picture. Have you noticed we were bombarded with fear about the terrorists? Loads of terrorist attacks in the world. And guess what? COVID killed all the terrorists. Have you heard anything about terrorist attacks once COVID hit? Because I haven't. And guess what? The war in Russia and Ukraine killed COVID. From my point of view, immediately, as the media started talking about the war, there was nothing about COVID anymore. And we were not even informed when the restrictions were lifted, by the way, travel, mask, etc. I'm just wondering now, is the war in Israel, if this war will kill the war in Ukraine, or will just merge and join the two together? Just questions. For me, it started back in February 2021. And I'm a contributor, regular contributor to, I live in London. I am from Romania, and I contribute to a particular TV channel in Romania that is for business and then developed into personal and spiritual development as well. And I wanted to do a TV show in February 2021. I was going to Romania. It was lockdown. And British people were not allowed to leave the country. But it wasn't quite clear exactly if that was only for the British, for everyone. So apparently, if you had a reason for business to travel, you could travel. And I had a letter from this channel in my pocket, traveling with my son and my partner, Russ. Russ is British. We went to the check-in. We were going to Romania. And yes, I have to admit that we also wanted to go skiing for a few days because Romania wasn't closed at that time for the sports activities. And at check-in, they looked at my passport. I gave 3 British passports, me, my son, and my partner. And they said to me, "Do you have a Romanian passport?" I said, "Yes." I gave the Romanian passport and they said, "Okay, so you and your son can travel. The gentleman here can't." My boyfriend, British. I'm like, "What, Brexit?" Brexit had happened only like recently. Only as of 1st of January, they started to implement. And they said, yes. So I called someone that I know from the embassy and they said, no, we don't, there is no visa thing either way, not yet. We're not aware of anything. Okay, so I went back to the counter and they said, "Oh, no, it's the airline company." It happened that I knew the owner of the airline company. It was Blue Air. And I couldn't speak to him, but there was a little back and forth, and they were blaming the airline company. And then I said, "Well, no, the Romanian airline company says there is no restriction there." Then they were like, "Oh, no, it's not in Romania. It's the operations here in London." I'm like, "Oh," called again. And then I was basically told that it's the frontier police that is preventing people from traveling. I'm like, so why did they not say from the very beginning? Why did they lie? And that was my first trigger to start questioning what's going on. And I came back home because even though I could go with my son, we decided not to go. Of course, we were the 3 of us, so we all came back home. And I did this video, the truth about pandemic, whatever I understood at the time, because I started questioning. I researched a little bit on the way home. And look at the number of views. That was live on Facebook, 2.4 million views. And there were 71,000 interactions on this video. I was like, oh, what's going on? And looking at the comments, I realized that people knew. Some people knew there was something wrong, and much more than me. So that pushed me into searching. So the question is, searching because something wasn't right. Is there a plan? Who's behind the plan, if there is a plan? Maybe just another cycle or more cycles, maybe aliens or something else. These were the questions I had, and probably some of you have these questions, or hopefully you now care a bit more than before. And we'll look into these questions during the presentation, or I will answer my view. But I want to now move from, okay, this is the world, towards me and you, because in the end of the day, you care about your life and I care about my life. We now have in BUB Free programs, few hundred people, participants, and we have quite a large community. And I asked my community, what's your biggest problem? And they responded, health issues, I don't have any energy, I don't really have desire to live. Post-COVID health issues, something that they are not aware of, doctors can't tell what it is. Some people are in depression or some kind of mental health. A big one was relationships with partner, and a lot of people suffered with the kids because they were forced to stay at home, and then they realized, a lot of people told me, I raised monsters, my kids are monsters, and I was not even aware of it. And of course, some people divorced, some people change relationships, partners, etc. House is a mess, but I can't do anything about it. I don't even know where to start. Inheritance. Funny enough, there are quite a few people that have problems because somebody died and they inherited some things. And the reason why they have problems is because there are a lot of material possessions, like, I don't know, China and chairs and whatever, and they don't know what to do with it. There is some value in it, but they can't take it in their house because their house is already full. They can't sell it because nobody's buying it. And then they end up putting in storage, or they end up keeping that house with all that stuff inside because they don't know what to do with it. Some people have to pay money to process the paperwork on their names, and they don't have that kind of money. So a lot of paperwork needs to be done, a lot of time involved. And yeah, I was surprised about this, although I do have kind of a little bit of this because my father passed away on the 31st of December last year with COVID in hospital. So some people have just normal things. Yeah, I'm still unable to stop smoking, or I'm unable to lose weight. Some people are, oh, I'm just unlucky every time. Or I live a life that I'm not fulfilled. I do the same thing over and over again, and I just don't find myself in my life. And a lot of people responded with them, the government, them, the elite running the world, and them that have a plan to destroy humanity. And some people said, you know what? I don't know what the problem is. And the reason why I put this slide is because hopefully you will identify yourself somewhere in those problems. And of course it happens. There are situations in life where you lose your job, or you lose your business, or a client moves business away from you. You lose someone dear and it's painful. Or it's just a pipe breaking in the house, or the car breaking, so you need to fix it. Trains, someone said to me, the trains got delayed, and it's as if someone orchestrated that on purpose so that I miss the connection. And every time I get somewhere, the connection is gone, and then I need to wait for another whatever. And then the journey is literally double. As I said, bank asking for too much information, too many documents for the money I receive or I transfer, and I don't have that information, and I'm stuck with my accounts being blocked. My money, I'm not able to access my money. And quite a few people have been fined for speeding more recently. And somehow they get different court cases for something usual, like a neighbor being upset with him, or something a bit more due to him. For example, someone couldn't pay the rent, and of course, he didn't want to leave the flat, so then there is a court case for eviction. So just putting all these problems into 4 categories, it's super simple. It's money, it's time, no time, relationships, one with some people, and it's health. And I see people being agitated, frustrated, angry, nervous, a lot of stress, and thank you for the heart, whoever is giving me the little heart. A lot of pressure. People feel under pressure to perform, to deliver, to make money, to whatever. A lot of uncertainty, which is normal because of the times that we're living, and a lot of confusion because they don't know what to do. They had a plan and then something happened and they had to change the plan, or they don't know how to change. But sorry. Basically, this is where I wanted to get to. Life is simply more complex. And it's just too many things to do just to live. If you have a job or a business and you have to, and you want to stay on top of everything, with the bills being paid, with kid going to school and knowing what's happening there, and everything in life, it almost becomes impossible because it's too many things. Everything is accelerated, and it's normal. It is accelerated for a reason, which I'm going to cover in this presentation. And on top of this, technology is supposed to help us make ourselves more organized, easier to do things quicker. But the reality is, based on my discussions and my experience, that technology gives us quite a bit to do, because you need to download another application and this doesn't work and you can't connect to whatever, and then you can't make the payment, and it's on and on and on. And again, just to put things in perspective, it's absolutely impossible to know all, to know everything, because it's just too much information. It's impossible to do all that you want. And everyone eventually has some fires to fight somewhere, somehow. It's impossible to have everything you want, because something needs attention, and then the money goes towards that something instead of something else that you wanted to, for example, replace a sofa or something. And you know what? It's impossible to follow all the rules when you drive in the UK. And you might have not noticed, but if you drive in the UK, and if you look at every single sign post, which you're supposed to see when you drive, and if you even look at your GPS to know to navigate, it's absolutely impossible with the speed that you drive, which it's 20 miles in London, but that's another subject. It's impossible to notice all the signs and to read everything that is written on all the signs. I found myself driving on a street that had been closed for non-permit holders and receiving a fine because, yes, the post was there, but there was too much writing and I didn't see. And also, many people will say that it's impossible not to argue with your kid, with your partner, with your colleague, etc. Society problems, generic problems, storms, fires, earthquakes, wars, accidents, systems on the verge of collapsing. Now I'm talking about the medical, financial, educational system. British people, and American as well, and other nations, paying taxes to finance the war. Has anyone asked us if we want to finance the war? New illnesses with no diagnostic, artificial intelligence, it's coming, it's developing, it's influencing every one of us. And of course, a lot of the jobs will disappear because of the artificial intelligence. Crisis, again and again and again, and governments don't seem to learn from the past, do they? And don't know what or whom to trust, because it's too much information and it's too conflicting. And that's on every front. I'm not talking about conspiracy theory in particular, although there is loads there. I'm talking about, for example, dieting. Some people say, oh, you need to have 3 meals a day and 2 little things in between. Some people say, no, it's better to fast and just have 1 big meal and nothing else until the next day. Some people say eat the apple right after the lunch. Some people say, no, don't eat fruits with the lunch. Wait for 2 hours. It's in these conflicts, it's in every single aspect of our life. It's impossible to know what the truth is. So that's why most people are feeling lost, and it's absolutely normal. But we also live in the world of extremes, a world of trivial values, where we value the lips and the boobs and the Louis Vuitton bag more than our health, more than our relationship with our kid. We value spending time in a club and whatever with friends more than going and visiting the parents or grandparents. And there is a lot of exaggeration as well. You want to have that bigger car, you want a big engine to drive in London, 20 miles an hour. Why? Just because it's fun to have a big engine that you can never, ever really use to the maximum. And individualism, that's another huge problem. We are, and that's normal, so focused on ourselves, like, oh, okay, I need to go to work or business, I need to get the money, I need to provide to my kid, I need to make sure of the house. And well, I don't care if the neighbor has a shit in front of his garden, because it's his garden. It's an exaggerated example just to make a point. And the worst is the separation. And that's something I want to explain a little bit, because this is what's really killing us more than all the others. So there are different views, again, on everything. And the easiest one to look at, it's political party. Yeah. Oh, the government is in a mess because this party is ruling. If this party was ruling, it would be better. Separation. I support this party, you support that party. Vaccine. Oh, you need to put that vaccine in so we can finish the pandemic sooner. Oh, no, you're an idiot if you put the vaccine in, because it's producing injuries and it's controlling and it's all that stuff you don't want to look at. So it's pro and con, supporting that or that, supporting Russia or supporting Ukraine, now supporting NATO or Israel or whoever. And the biggest problem is that with this separation, we put ourselves in boxes, in individual boxes, away from friends, away from family, away from communities, away from people. And if we are now to look at our beliefs, people that are participating in this call, everyone will have different beliefs, will support different things. That party was vaccine and was whatever reform or whatever CSR action that BP is doing, etc. Some people is supporting others. And if we are put into boxes, eventually every single one of us will be in one box and will not want to interact or be friends with their friends, with other family members, with colleagues, with boss, with clients, etc. That's where we're heading towards if we don't understand that everyone is free to have their own beliefs, their own point of view, and it's okay. Everyone is looking at life from their point of view, and it's okay. We just need to accept. Someone is saying polarization, or someone rather depolarization. So it looks like you got the point. All of this is because we are trained and training ourselves and training our kids to live a shallow life. My kid is asking me, oh, no Starbucks today? When I grew up, I had no Starbucks, not even Café Frappé, which is my favorite drink, unless I would go to that particular terrace at the seaside in Olive. And our kids expect things to be there all the time, and they're not cheap. It's one coffee, it's cheap, but if you put 3 coffees each day in a year, you get to quite a bit of money. And in my case, my kid is expecting that. He doesn't care how much it costs. And if he doesn't have, my kid understands, but I've seen a lot of kids that don't understand, and they do not accept to not have their burger or their ice cream or their whatever, or their Nikes or their whatever sunglasses they want. Everyone wants something. And I want to give another example of how a lot of the people are playing our part in where we are. A business offering cheap food. And I don't want to say McDonald's or KFC or whatever, generic. And the cheap food, we know it's low nutrition. It doesn't give any vitamins or anything good for the body. It's in fact just bad for the body. And it's good profits for the company that is offering that food. And people choose that cheap food. A lot of the times, many people. Why do they choose it? Well, either because they want to save some money, so they have money to go to movies or buy clothes or expensive cars, or they want to save time, or it's convenient. Oh, I come back home tired from work. I don't want to cook. It's easier to just order McDonald's or whatever. So we support this low nutrition, bad, cheap food. And everyone has their own version. I'm not saying everyone is ordering McDonald's, but whatever. And then a lot of people get sick. And a lot of the sickness is also because of the food intake that we eat, because it's not good. It's not with vitamins. It's not with the proteins and everything that we need. And then what do? They pay to get healthy. And doctor bills are not cheap. 2 concepts which are just concepts for most people: heaven and hell. Not here, somewhere there after we die. But a lot of people are questioning, oh, what is heaven? What is hell? And a lot of people are actually living in hell. They don't know what hell is, but oh, my life is hell. From my point of view, these concepts are not outside of our existence and for when we die or for another existence. It's really equilibrium versus extremes. If you are in equilibrium, you live in heaven right now on this planet, in this life. If you go for extremes, you live in hell, because it's impossible to fulfill all the extremes that you have and want and live. I'm going to go into much more detail for whoever is interested in a course I'm doing, which is called Forward with Ease, because it's about duality and it's understanding the light and night and how we push away the darkness, but we actually don't. And darkness is basically our potential, but we don't know. I just wanted to, again, give you some hints so you start questioning, your mind starts questioning outside of the box where you live. A summary of your life and of where we are as a humanity is this slide. At some point, every one of us is unhappy. Whatever happens, at some point, we get to unhappiness. And of course, we want to be happy. And eventually, we find our way to happiness. Some people find it with drugs or sex or alcohol or another partner or changing something. Some people find it with spirituality. Some people find it with, I don't know, other tools and techniques. But the question is this happiness sustained? especially if you find happiness by buying another Maserati or another Dior sunglasses or another perfume. It's not sustained. And most people are just living their life, and it's normal. It's indifferent to anything. It's just minding their own business, most of us. But the problem is that from minding your business to sustained happiness, it's almost impossible. You can get to happiness by buying another bag, but it's not a sustained happiness. So what needs to happen is that from normal life, the tree needs to fall on your car or on your roof to go like, ooh, oops, something happened. Or you need to break up with your lover, or something traumatic needs to happen, even go to hospital. So you go here, you go to unhappy, you go to question. You start questioning why you're there, why you're here on earth, or what you need to do. And you start searching. And one way or another, that's where we need to get to. So we find the right way to get to sustained happiness. Because if we don't find that right way to get to sustained happiness, and it is possible, I've been living it for the past 3 years, and my clients are living it, not all of them, but whoever invest in themselves to work on themselves get to live this sustained happiness. Most people from this happiness go down to at some point. So instead of doing this zigzag up and down, up and down, up and down, we are now, as humanity, being pushed from normal life into shitty life. And it's not necessarily shitty life because it's still nice, but it's feeling constraints, it's feeling tightness in one way or another. Something happens to you, so you feel it was better before the pandemic. I wish this didn't happen. And that's why, because you need to start asking loads of questions that you didn't consider before, you didn't need before, because life was normal. And once you start questioning, you start finding answers, and you start going on this path. And this path is in particular 3 reds and 2 greens, because most people, when they embark on this spiritual path, personal development path, evolution, whatever you want to call it, the first 3 steps are bad. They don't get fulfilled, they don't get happy, they just get a little bit. They solve a problem, but then something else happens. And there is an easier way. There are easier tools and tools updated, which have been developed after the pandemic started, which can get people from unhappy to sustained happiness. But that requires you to look at life differently. And this is my aim with you today, to start looking at your life differently. Is that good? Yes, no? How are we doing so far? Just give me a thumb up or a thumb down if you're happy, if you're not happy, if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense. I get a few thumbs up. Okay, super. So yeah, if we look at this image, it's just a picture from the city of London, random. I want you to imagine if you live in this building here on the first floor, and if all your life you get out of your building, you go around, you drive your car, go shopping, meet your friends, and then you come back here. You see life from this perspective, normal. But how is this compared to someone living here? Will this person see a little broader view on the city? I hope you say yes, because it's just higher. What about if someone lives here? You get to see much more. From here, you only see the buildings and the cars and the really walls and plants and flowers. But from here, you start to see a panoramic view. And if we go even further, you see even more of the panoramic view. And if you go on top of the highest building, you see the whole panorama. And that's what I would like to invite you to do about your life, to see the whole panorama. That's a journey. You can't go from this level, from junior level or first class, straight up here in one go. It's a process. It takes a little bit of time, but when you're there, life is different. Life is way better. It's better than you even can ever consider or think or dream of. And that's not just me saying, I am already living a life that I could not think of and dream of before I did this journey. And I'm in the journey myself at some point. Maybe I'm here. I don't know. And it's people in the programs that say the same thing. It's like unbelievable how easy things become when you go above. And that's what I want to go now, to start going up. If you look on the screen, it's two words. What's the difference? What's the difference between this word and this word? And I'd like you to respond to this question. I'm actually interested in your response. So I'm waiting for you to type your response. Monica says the first letter. Christina is looking from a different perspective, right? Substantive versus name. Capital I, says Alistair, the first letter, trigger us. The second is with capital, one is uppercase, one is lowercase. Thank you. Yes, that is true. But the meaning of this word, intelligence with small i's, is what you and I and everyone understands from intelligence. Yeah, being able to read and express yourself, communicate, do some logic, reasoning, etc. This one, intelligence with capital I, is not the same word. It's where this intelligence finishes, this intelligence starts. And we are moving from what we see here now and have been trained to live and believe in the whole life towards outside of our intelligence. And that's intelligence with capital I. Might still not make any sense yet, but hopefully it will by the end of this presentation. So just a quick exercise, how to get what you want. And I propose 4 steps, which are hopefully very easy to follow. Decide what you want, of course, because if you don't know what you want, you can't get what you want. Then make a plan. So you know where you start and you know where you finish. Then start executing the plan, as in start and finish. Does this sound like a good plan? Yes, no? Does this make sense? Thank you, Zana, for the great meeting. Okay, so it does make sense. Okay, but I do a workshop called Plan Your Life. And every single time I did that workshop, people who participated did not know what they wanted. They did not know what they needed. Most people had an idea, but not quite clear. And many of them knew what they didn't want, but they couldn't really articulate exactly what they wanted. And I'm going to come back to this point to prove to you that that is true. Then about making the plan, if you've never had that thing that you want, you don't know how to get it. So how can you make a plan if you don't know how to get it? And then about the start, most people, even though they have an idea of what they want, they have an idea of the plan, how to get it, they don't start. Only some people start. But guess what? Most people never finish. Do you agree with what I said so far? Monica says it makes sense, but I miss the fantasy used to realize the goals. I will answer that. Thank you for the comment. So does this make sense to you guys? Universe prizes this who take the action. Super, Christina, well done. And you are here because you took action to be here, and I super appreciate you. And I know you are very active in this world. But I'm sure you're here because you haven't got everything you wanted, because if you did, it didn't make sense to be here. Someone says, Grigorash, perseverance. As long as you don't finish, you didn't get the goal. Exactly. If you only start, and if you don't finish, you don't get the goal accomplished. And Grigorash, perseverance. I'm curious by identity. Okay, but what is missing? Because clearly something is missing, and I appreciate all of you guys who responded. I will get to this point and I will answer. I want to tell you that when I took Sebastian, my son, to golf, there was a kid in the bathroom, and he was screaming and shouting and very, very unhappy and crying. And his mom was saying to the kid, and he was probably about 13, my son's age, do as you're told. You can go, Sebastian. Sebastian is going to the kitchen. So the mother was saying, unhappy kid was saying, do as you're told. What the mother was saying, comply, obey. On the other hand, I remember that I was coming back from the local market here in Chiswick, and there was a dad, kid, and I don't know what the kid said, but the dad said, make your own judgment. You know the consequences of option 1, you know the consequences of option 2, and you decide. Which one of these kids do you think has better chances to succeed in life and to be happy and to be fulfilled? 1 or 2? And of course, you're saying 2. The problem is, a lot of us have been raised as 1. The problem is that a lot of people, parents, are raising their kids in this way. And moving forward, I spoke to one father, and he said to me, oh, and there is something wrong in the world and it doesn't add up. But you know what? I just mind my business because I'm too little to change anything. But I have 2 kids and I'm doing my best to change. So then I come and ask you, how can a father that considers himself too little to change anything can teach his kids? Tell me. Anyone? Any thoughts? He can't. He can't. Sebastian, Sebastian, my son, is making his own pizza, and he said he can't. And that is true. He can't. We only learn in school, but we learn from our experiences every single time. We learn or unconsciously. Most people are not aware of the learning that is happening outside of school. And that learning in the school, I'm not sure how beneficial that is versus the learning that we do in real life. What you need to understand is that the universe is constantly guiding us, but we don't understand it. We don't even know, oh, who is the universe? Creator, God, divinity, spirits. Who is it and how is it guiding us? It just doesn't make any sense because nobody taught any of these things. But hopefully by the end of the presentation, a little bit more of these will make sense. Question to you, what have you learned in life? And I'm not talking about the school, university, or MBA. I've got an MBA in finance. I'm talking about real life experiences. And you may say, well, I learned not to fight because I entered into that fight. But there is a lot of subconscious learning that we are not aware of. And I want to give you an example. My parents divorced when I was 14. And they were fighting over me. Everyone was saying the other one was bad. It was horrible. Anyway, moved on. And when I separated from Sebastian's father, that you've just seen, after 12 years of relationship, I was absolutely desperate. The pain that I've never felt before, it was unbearable. Imagine as a woman, you stay in the house with the man you love and you want to give you love and affection and to care for you. And he's out of the bed, out of the house 3-4 nights in a week, giving some other women what you want to receive from him. It was horrible. And because it was so horrible, then I started my search. But I remember that I had a coaching call, and one of the questions was from the coach, what did you decide when your parents divorced? And initially I was like, huh? And then the answer came straight away. I decided that there are no lifelong relationships. And after I said that, I realized, yeah, every time I look at some people that are happily married, my first question is, when are they going to break up? What needs to happen for them to break up? That's how I was thinking, because I had this belief that there are no lifelong relationships. And because of this belief, I did not commit myself 100% into the relationship, although I thought I was committed and I did behave like I was committed. But mentally, there was something inside me that was not committed. And that's how the relationship eventually ended, because that one belief. Another Monica says, to be a better human and still learning, to be in contact with my true self and still learning, to be in contact with my soul spirit and still learning, to understand I have all the answers and still learning. Yay, Monica, that's where I would like everyone in this call to get to and beyond, to understand also how to. Example number 2. I was having lots of fun when I was young, in school, in high school, in university, MBA, fun. But I realized that every time I was super, super happy and having loads of fun, something happened and pushed me down. And at some point, I realized that this was happening, and I was cautious, and I did not want to have that much fun, because instead of going like this, up and down, I was like, oh, maybe I don't go all the way up, so I don't go all the way down, because it's horrible when you go all the way down. And I became serious without even realizing it. That was running in my subconscious mind. So question is to you, what unpleasant situations keep repeating for you? Gregoras says to think positive and go on. Yes, that's one little piece, Gregoras, and I appreciate your answer, and it's part of it, but it's not enough. It's much more than this if you want to be truly happy. And if you don't want to lie to yourself, because thinking positive doesn't really change your life. And I've seen it over and over again. I've worked with hundreds of people in the programs and in private sessions. We as humans are masters at lying at ourselves first. We lie to ourselves, we lie to others, we are lied by others. And that needs to break that cycle. And you can't break it unless you realize you lie to yourself. And we'll have more of this. I'll prove to you. Another person, long time ago, the car was broken into and things were stolen. So he learned that cars get broken into. So then he expected the cars to get broken into. Therefore, he always removed all his belongings from the car, never left anything. One time he left something in the car because it was only for a few minutes. It happened. And then what happened proved that he was right. He was right to worry. Does this make sense? Yes, no? Thumb up or down? Are you with me? Okay, I see some hearts. Thank you. Yes, Christina knows a lot of the theoretical side, confirmation bias. Let's see when we get to the practical stuff, Christina. No, it doesn't make sense for you, Monica, because you're already at another layer. You already understood and transformed this piece. Tony says it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. At personal level, the car will get broken into and my stuff will be stolen from. And it comes at humanity level. The conspiracy theory is making us create the reality that they want us to create, to self-destruct. But for some people, this information still doesn't make sense. So let's look at the real problems. Addiction, substances, drugs, alcohol, betting, or addiction to work. Oh, I have to spend 20 hours a day in the office or on my computer. And a lot of the people are addicted to suffering without knowing. And even if they know, and that's my boyfriend, the first date, we met in Richmond. And he said to me at the end of our walk, which was quite few hours, he said to me that he had a stone in his shoe, which was irritating him and was eventually creating a more than a pain, just removing the skin and getting to the blood. And at some point, literally like very close to the end, he stopped and he took it out. And I said, so why did you walk with it all the time? You knew you had it, it was painful, and you didn't remove it? Oh, yeah, I'm used to pain. I'm used to suffering. I was like, and then I realized that a lot of the people are used to suffering without even realizing it. Real problems is fear, a fear that you may be aware or you're not aware of. And most people are not aware of all the fear. They're aware of some, but they are not aware of many of the problems that they have, or the fears that they have. I'm also reading the comments. So Anna said, my boss is work addicted and this affects me too. Of course, because if the boss is addicted, then you have to stay long hours and you have to work more because you need to satisfy the expectations of the boss. And Monica, what the mind is occupied with is also what we get more of. Either we want it or we are worried about it consciously or unconsciously. Exactly. And Anna says exactly. And a fear is the same thing. What you are afraid of, you attract it. And I know there are a lot of programs and a lot of people say, oh, yeah, you need to manage the fear. It's not about managing the fear. There are tools now that you can literally remove a fear in 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. It's that simple. And you can remove any fear in 10 minutes without that fear ever bothering you again. And I tell you, my boyfriend was afraid of heights. And I worked with him. I did a private session with him on that fear. We went to Mexico just 2 months ago, and we went to a cliff, and he jumped off from the highest. There were 3 stages of the cliff. He jumped from the highest cliff because he was no longer afraid of heights. And all his life was trying to manage, trying to push himself harder and harder towards looking at the, going on the mountain and looking down. And every time it was horrible. And what I'm talking about in this session is understanding that there is something inside you that you can switch right away, and the fear goes forever and ever. Real problem is that people are lost and they can't cope. They can't cope with just too many things, too much suffering or too much hate, too much of whatever everyone has. Problem is that people don't believe in themselves, although they think they do. And even the driven ones, and I was there myself, I was very driven. My father was an entrepreneur, and I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I learned from my father to be an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur, and I wanted to make $1 billion sales. That's stupid, exaggerated. Yeah, what do you need? Why do you need that much money? Just because that was my number. And I was always driven and always doing stuff. And when I was hearing people say, oh, people don't believe in themselves, I was like, yeah, those idiots that don't do anything, don't believe in themselves. And then it took me a long time to realize that the reason why I wanted that goal was because I didn't believe in myself. And I needed to prove to myself, well, I wanted to prove to my father I can do better than him. But I needed to prove that I can achieve something extraordinary because I didn't believe in myself. So it comes either way. And there is a lot of lack of leadership in our society. And then you say, oh yeah, I'm a business, I'm a manager, I have a team, I achieve so much. Yes, but you know, most people cannot be the leader of their own self, of their own life. And most people need to be told what to do. And I've seen very successful entrepreneurs, millionaires, self-made millionaires, that in business were like very sharp. In private life, they needed somebody else to tell them what to do. So you see all these celebrities, or you see all these politicians or businessmen or whatever. Oh, fearful, fearless. Yeah, fearless. They are super cool. They do and they act and they achieve. I tell you what, most of them, they have one or more areas in their lives where they need to be told what to do. Because most people lack leadership. And the problem is that all of these become part of our identity. So every single one of us believes something of ourselves. And I'll go a bit more into identity, and I'll give you an example of how a shift in identity has a huge shift in the life, and it was done in 10 minutes. So how you see yourself, consciously or unconsciously, that's really your identity, although it's a bit more than that, affects the way you live and what you do and how you think and everything. Now, I will start giving you some very specific examples now. That was me. I did for about 7 years. I did loads of workshops, big events, small events, and I worked with about 60,000 entrepreneurs around the world. A lot of them in Romania and a lot of them online, a lot of them in England. I even did India and Dubai and traveled in a few other places. And I did presentations and workshops. And I was promoting my events, my workshops online, my programs, my products online. I did learn. I paid a lot of money to learn online marketing. And then the way I operate is that I need to structure the information. And then as I was structuring the information for myself, then I started giving it to others, and I started organizing boot camps, and I had a lot of my own products. And sorry, I told you, I got a bit of a cold. So what I realized, and it took me a long time to realize this, people were buying from me after an event, and they were not buying straight away online. I would do a webinar with people I did not know, like some of you here, and none of them would buy anything from me. People that knew me from before, we had other interactions, we spoke before, they would be more inclined to buy. And my results in my online marketing strategies and tactics, which I was teaching others, were average, not very good, not worth. And I realized that there were many people that coming to my events, learning from me, deploying the same strategies as me. I was helping them to create the copy, create the ad, create the sales funnel, etc. And they were having better results than me. And that was frustrating. I had no idea how to do it. The final result is that I was spending more on advertising, Facebook ads, to get less money than those people who had better results. And it took me a long time to uncover, and I didn't uncover during those periods. I only realized after I stopped doing the business events. I had this belief, I questioned myself, So I had the belief that it is not possible to build trust online. I had no idea, never thought about this in my life. Of course, I was teaching people to build trust because people buy from you only if you trust you. As building trust is obvious, and it's the first step in selling. No trust, no sale. But with this belief that I cannot build trust online, I was not building trust online, and nobody was buying from me online. And the ads were performing less because of this belief. And I'll give you more examples. I'll give you, these are examples from people I know. Some of them are my clients. Some did not want to work with me because they need to suffer more, they need to struggle more. So real life situations. And I want to show you now what's behind a real life situation. Someone having a house really messy, like stuff everywhere. Even the toilet downstairs is full of shoes, with boxes with shoes and clothes and stuff. And literally you cannot put anything in that house. Why? And she's not able to clean up. She tried several times and she was just not able to clean up. So all she does is just putting more and more and more. And I remember she said to me at some point, she was in on holiday. She came back with loads of clothes, which she purchased on holiday, one luggage. And she was like, 3 months, the luggage was in the living room, open on the floor. And she didn't touch it. She was only taking the clothes from there and putting them there. Why? Because she had no space in the house to put any clothes whatsoever. And the reason why this is happening, or one of the reasons, is that people like this get certainty from material things. And because they lack certainty inside them, they need to accumulate, because that's how they feel safe. By having more and more and more things, they feel safe. Another lady, 47 years old, she's a client. She never had a proper relationship. She had on and off, but distance, nothing, never ever anything serious. And I worked on a session with her on the relationship. And in that session, it became obvious that her mom was mature, but she was not happy in the relationship with the father. So what she decided as a young girl was that mature women suffer. So she decided not to become a mature woman. So she decided to stay a little girl or a teenage girl, never go beyond. And of course, if you don't mature, you can't have a proper relationship. You only have whatever you get when you're 15 or 20 or whatever, on and off, distance, nothing serious. That one belief led her life from the relationship point of view, not having a proper relationship. Another one, super skilled, super intelligent, super able to make loads of money and made loads of money, but she was rejecting money. So what was happening all the time, up and down, up and down, up and down. Because what happened, again, I saw it I do a lot of woohoo stuff. I saw that she was killed in a previous life because she had a lot of money. So in the previous life, she decided she doesn't want to have a lot of money. It's not safe to have a lot of money. If I get a lot of money, I get killed. So whenever she was getting to a point, money, go, 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 because I don't want to be killed. And that's in subconscious. That's at soul level. And I'll touch on this as well. Another one, her wallet was stolen. But it wasn't stolen on a regular day. It was stolen when she had a significant amount of cash in the wallet. Not before, nor not after, in that particular day. Why? She said to me, oh yeah, because I was not careful. Well, guess what? She wasn't careful with her wallet before. She wasn't careful with the wallet after. Why in that moment? Because she had so much more money than usual. She was afraid of somebody stealing the money. And that's exactly what happened. She attracted that event. Another one, award-winning entrepreneur, and actually more awards, but has no money. He got few awards, but he never ever generated any money with the business, no revenue whatsoever. And he got to the point where he had to sell stuff from the house on eBay to be able to get some money, because he couldn't accept his own failure. He still hoped, believed that his business was going to eventually generate money. And he didn't want to get a job. He didn't want to do anything. So he's like, oh, okay, survive a little bit was this thing being sold. I survive a little bit more. And I learned this from a futurist, how someone gets bankrupt gradually, then suddenly. And I tell you that I've been there. I have been close to bankruptcy because I didn't know any of these things I'm doing. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing this information, because I was running my life like any normal person with a brain and minding my own business. He believes that he is invincible, but he's got shaky foundation. So he's only looking at this upper side. Like imagine a building. It's as if you build a building just up here on like very slim poles up to here. And he didn't consider all the foundation that is underground and all this chunk underneath, which is what I encourage you to understand you have, and you need to acknowledge, and you need to master. Somebody else, Money Master, literally makes money very easily. She was sued for £30,000 refund of rental income, because there is a legislation in the UK where tenants can ask for that. Of course, tenants do, because they exploit the legislation. They don't understand karma, and they don't understand that if they ask for money that it's not theirs, something bad will happen to them. But the point is that she got sued and she needed to do something. And from my point of view, the reason why that happened to her was not specifically for the money, or well, because she didn't pay attention to the legislation. I learned about her from her about that legislation. I did not know either. But it's to change her focus, because her focus is on the material world, on the outside world, on social, money, cars, things that you can see and touch, which everyone needs to focus on, but only to a certain degree. Someone else, employee, working super hard, eventually got exhausted. And, you know, she wasn't wanting anything more. She just wanted to come back home and relax and charge the batteries for the next day. She didn't have any expectations from life other than just working, relaxing, going back to work. Because her underlying belief was that I don't deserve better. I don't deserve any more. Until she got sick and she had to go to hospital and she had to look for something, some other things. Someone never finishing. And I told you in that plan circle with the 4 points, most people never finish. The reason why most people never finish is because they have an underlying belief. And in this case, the belief was that when something is finished, I suffer. But it's also to do with success. Some people are afraid of being successful. And when I showed earlier, some people are afraid of having too much money or accomplishing X, Y, Z, because at soul level, there is something, an energetic imprint from a previous life that is holding them back. And if you don't believe in reincarnation and previous lives, just take it as an inherited from your ancestors, from your parents, grandparents, their grandparents, etc. Because these things are in our DNA and they come from generation to generation. At some point in the past, something happened and then it was transmitted. And then if you look back in your lineage, you will realize that whatever bad things run your life, you will see them with your mother or father or grandfather or grandmother, depending on if you are a boy or a girl, or I don't want to go into detail, but you see it in the past. So then the question is, really, who runs your life? And who is in control? And how much control do you have on your life? And that's a question that I would like you to answer. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much control do you believe you have in your life right now? 1 is no control. 10, I control everything. I have 100% control of everything in my life. So just give me a number between 1 and 10 in the chat right now, please. Okay, I have between 6, between 5 and 7, maybe 0. I love you, Ulrika, for that answer. Most people are around 5. Okay, so when COVID happened, and you had plans to go on holiday or to go see a movie with your friends or a concert, or you have tickets to something, flights booked, or simply going to go to work the next day. How much control did you have on you not being able to do whatever activities you had planned? 0. What else? None. Only 2 people answering. So how much control did you have? Okay, how much control did you have on your life, on doing the activities that you were going to do when when lockdown happened. So Christina had 6. Oh, Grigorash had 8. Toyin 2, Brandusha 5. 5, 4, 3. Okay, so somehow I see that we're moving from 5, 7, 8 before to 3, 4, 5 now. Okay, we have some exceptions. We didn't have much lockdowns in Sweden. Yes, Monica, that's right, and you were amongst the few. Those of you who lived in a country where there was lockdown and you couldn't do whatever you did, yes, you had control on what you could do in your house, in your garden. Yes, you had control on potentially going to work if you wanted to. Some people could, but you couldn't travel at some point. You couldn't meet with your friends that were afraid of COVID, or you couldn't do something because you didn't get vaccinated on time or at all. Christina turned around to invest my time in self. Exactly. That was brilliant. That's exactly what brought success and really a huge life upwards, if I can call it that way. Those of you who did like Christina to invest their time in self-education. I couldn't choose to do other things, but I couldn't control anything. Oh, I could choose, okay? My apps were on fire, okay? But I did change my lifestyle. I took the opportunity to relax, to develop myself and my business. For me, it was a golden time, actually. So I'm with you. Monica, Christina, I did exactly the same thing. I took the time to invest in myself, and I worked on myself. And quite a few of you guys here. But a lot of people, majority, finished all the Netflix series, finished talking to their friends on the phone or on Zoom or whatever, and started drinking, or didn't do much of the self-work, and they couldn't do what they were supposed to do. And the question was, not that you benefited from the lockdown, because I understand quite a few of you guys here benefited, and I'm super happy to see that. I'm in that category too. The question was, how much control did you have to carry on with the same things that you were doing before? And the answers for the same thing, to carry on with the same things as you're doing before, is quite small. So the number from 5, 7, 8 went down to 3, 4, as I could see. The point is that one virus, invisible, that we could not see, touch, hear, smell, had, oh,
yeah, you couldn't smell.
Sebastian says that we could smell. Oh, I couldn't smell. Okay, we couldn't smell. Led to some actions, some decisions, some restrictions, which restricted us. So again, how much control do we have? How much control do we have on the war happening now? 0. How much control do we have if another virus comes and the governments decide to lock down? We're a little bit smarter now, but still majority of people have 0 control. So things can happen and take your control. Therefore, you don't have control. You just believe you do. And it's nice to believe you do. But the control you really have in your life, based on what you know and based on what you do, without going into the woohoo stuff, is very, very limited. But we like to believe we're in control because we're smart people. That's normal. And a lot of the people, actually the society, us, we're kind of doomed to be miserable because we believe we have to have it all. We believe we have to have more money, bigger house, better car than the neighbor, than the boss, than the whatever. We have to be perfect, or we have to be the best. We have to be better looking than the colleague from university. We have to please everyone around us. Some people believe that. Some people believe I have to help everyone. So whatever the belief you have is taking you to the extreme. And everyone has one or two or three or more. You don't have all of them, of course, because some of them are in contradiction to each other. But it's time to question our beliefs. I'm looking at your chat now. It came itself, and you don't need to control. Yes, you don't need to control, but people still want to control, and they are still afraid of losing control. Only a few people have managed to let go of control. So, our beliefs shape our life. And what else? It's not only the beliefs, but it's also the fear. And I gave you an example. A client of mine came to me and said, oh, the boss wanted me to move to another department, had a conversation, and all of a sudden I got scared that I lose my job. But of course, and if I lose my job, I'm left with no money. But this person never, she's mature, she's like, I don't know, 40 something, never lost any job, always had money, always earned good money. And the real fear that I uncovered with her I had a one-to-one session with her, was the fear that I am excluded and marginalized. So the initial thing, the initial idea to her came like, oh, I am going to lose my job. I'm afraid that I lose my job and I have no money. But that was not really her fear. That was only what she could perceive and understand based on her limited understanding of fears, beliefs, and all of these things that are not seen. So it may not necessarily be what you think it is. And I'll give you another example. My boyfriend, we were going to Mexico, and we went through the US. And in the US, you get out of the of the transit zone, you get your luggage, and then you go through the security again. And when we went through the security, there were two lanes, and we all went into one lane. But my friend, my boyfriend, moved into the other lane, and because that was going faster, we stayed in this one. So we literally went super, super fast afterwards, and his bag went on the side, was pulled on the side, and there were like 4 or 5 other bags on the side. And we had to wait half an hour for him to go through the security check. Luckily, we had the time. His belief is that they mess with us. So because he has this belief that they mess with us and they don't want us to travel, he had the mess. So he had to wait for 30 minutes in the queue for his bag to be checked. Me and Sebastian, no problem, exactly the same situation, the same context, right? Because we were all traveling in the same airport at the same moment in the same place. Another example, we went to a conference, me and my boyfriend, and the stage was here, and obviously we were sitting here. And during the conference, my boyfriend said, I'm going to the toilet. So he walked here and he went to this door, and then you can see there is this lady here. And the lady said, oh no, you can't go through here. You need to go get out through the back. So he went all this way to the back, and then the toilets were actually here. And he came back. I didn't pay attention, but he came back and he said, well, you know what happened? This. And then he was watching. And then there were a few more people going. None of them was stopped. The only person that was stopped by this lady was him. And then eventually this lady left. So people could go through this door in and out. Why? Because he has the belief that things always take longer. So it's self-fulfilling prophecy that everything takes longer, therefore his journey to the toilet takes longer. And it's a silly thing. It's not a big deal to make a few more steps. But if you have these beliefs, like I showed you earlier with the business, that run your life and prevent you from getting more money or having the right relationship or really doing important things, then it's time to question. So now it's time to question yourself. What do you believe that messes up your life? And I'd like to see if you want to share any belief in the chat. Ion says, when you don't control, when you understand, you are nothing. I don't want to comment that because it takes a little bit more time. You're nothing and you are loads. But it requires a much bigger explanation, which I don't want to get into right now. So what beliefs do you guys have that are messing up your life? If you want to put it on the chat. No one wants to share any belief with me? Is it because you don't know what they are? You don't believe you have? Or you just can't be bothered? Are you still with me? Yes, no? I'd rather do it myself than asking for help. Thank you. I have to help everyone for them to like me. Ooh. Oh, that is ruining your life. You're glad if you survive. As in, you can't survive? I'm not sure I understand this one, Nils. They always pick others than me when it's good thing, I guess. Oh, economically. Oh, so your belief is that it's hard to survive economically. Is that correct? Yes, no? Yes, okay. Thank you. Thank you for interacting with me. Now, I showed you until now how beliefs can destroy pieces of your life or happiness. But it doesn't have to be like this. And the picture you see on the screen is a picture in Pivlice, Croatia. Last summer, previous summer, we went to Romania with my family, with my boyfriend and my son. And then we drove to Croatia. I had a subscription in Romania for phone, which I stopped, and I started a new one, but the new one I couldn't start until I came back after the holiday in Croatia. So I asked the guys, the Vodafone, where I had the subscription, my mobile phone, sorry. I asked them to terminate the contract in September after the holiday. But what they did, they terminated it exactly as we were driving to Croatia. So I had no reception. I thought, okay, maybe I have no reception because we are traveling. Eventually, first day, second day, third day in Croatia, no reception. So eventually, I called them and I said, oh yeah, we terminated your contract. So what meant, I didn't care that I didn't have mobile because, you know, you can speak on WhatsApp and you have plenty of Wi-Fi. But what happened was, by not having data, you cannot receive SMS. And in order to access my bank account, in order to access, and I have quite few bank accounts that require SMS to access. I also require SMS to access an app that I use to transfer money. So without SMS, normally you cannot access the bank. But I tried. And guess what? I had free access to all the bank accounts, not one, all of them. Even the app that I use to make transfers, I use Waze. And I could move my money freely, even though my phone was switched off and I could not receive any SMS. And that may sound weird, but that's how the difference will be in future. And I want you to pay close attention to this. If you allow the limitations of your fears and limiting beliefs to run your life, you will hit hard moments. But if you clear them up, you will live in a way that simply you cannot understand. I cannot understand how I could just go to the website, put my password in, and just go without the website asking me for any other 2FA, other security code. Why? Because at some point when I started looking into the conspiracy theory, conspiracy facts and whatever, the movement, information, I understood there is a plan. I understood there is an elite running the world, ruling us and wanting to squeeze us, wanting to take our money and wanting to block us from having access to our money. And I was so scared. I was like, oh, I can't live without money. How? So what I did, I identified every single limiting belief and fear I had around not being able to access my money. And I worked on them. When I say work on them, I put them in the tool and literally they switch, they disappear. And because I cleaned up everything, then the universe just opened the path for me to be able to access my money, even if I didn't have everything that is normal to have. And that's how you can change your reality. And I know for some people may still sound crazy, woohoo. Someone says, I have to work hard for money. That's a belief that needs to go, because as long as you have that belief, you will constantly be working hard for money. Monica says, universe is magic, we are magic. Exactly. And that's what I would like everyone to understand. Your mess life, all the shirt, what is happening, I think it's shit in this world because of people's choices and their crazy wishes and beliefs. Yes, that is true. So a lot of what's happening now is we are co-creating it. And it's our extreme way of living, our extreme wishes and desires that is creating this extreme world. And everybody needs to see that we have been living in the illusion. And that's why we need to see more earthquake, more wars, more flooding, more of whatever. Every single person needs to be hit hard so they can see the illusion in which we were living. So they can ask questions among themselves, around their life, and they start looking and raising their consciousness and vibration, which is what we are going into in a bit in this presentation. But I wanted to take it easy because I know you guys understand certain things that some people in this call don't understand. So I wanted to bring it up to for everyone to move forward together. Pain and physical pain and illnesses have, in most cases, an emotional cause. I don't say in all cases, although I do believe it's probably all cases. But it's very hard for most people to understand, because when you have something to do with the body, you go to the doctor, you get some pills, or have a surgery, you get better, and that's it. That's the way we lived until now. The medical system is breaking, and you can't see a doctor as you used to be able to in the past, or they can't treat you as before, etc., because people need to be pushed into eventually sorting out their problems in a different way. And the different way, the better way, is to look at the cause of the problem, not to treat the effects, like, oh, I have a headache, I get a painkiller. It's to look, okay, why do I have that pain or that illness? There is something in my emotions, in my soul, in my beliefs, that in a fear, or some expectations, or some things that I carry from generations, from before me or from a previous life, that is creating that illness and that pain. I know it's hard to believe for a lot of the people, because it's completely new information. And I want to give you an example. This lady, she had a backache, and she went to see a few doctors, and everyone said, you're fine, I can't see anything, I can't diagnose you with anything because there is nothing wrong. So they couldn't give any treatment because there is nothing wrong, there is no diagnosis. And I connected with her, which is what I do in private sessions. That's my gift, which I uncovered. And I healed her in 10 minutes. Literally, she said to me, I have no pain. But the pain she came with, it wasn't like, oh, a little bit of pain. She said to me, I cannot sleep anymore. When I turn around in bed, I scream. It's that bad. The pain is that bad. In 10 minutes, the pain was gone. Why? How? I looked at herself and I understood what the cause was. She had assumed more tasks than her mission. She had assumed a bigger mission. Like her mission, she's a healer, and she worked with herself, and she understands a lot, she can do a lot of the things. And her mission, if you see it visually, is like a circle around her. But what she had assumed as her mission, because her ego is like, oh, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. Then she assumed as her mission a bigger circle. So she put another layer to her circle, which was not her mission. And because she assumed such a big mission, it was too heavy on her shoulders to carry, and the back was suffering. And it's that easy. And after this session, we were preparing the program in Mission, because I do a lot of programs with my partner in Romania, and one of them is the in Mission. So you become the person that fulfills understands the mission, uncovers the mission, and fulfills the mission. I added one more thing in the program, and that was understand what tasks, responsibilities you assume that are not yours, because every single one of them is like a heavy weight here on your shoulders. And I tell you what I realized. I realized that I had assumed the task of being my son's driver. I was driving him to golf weekends and sometimes even weekdays. And it was 4 hours drive, 2 hours, 1 hour to go there, or 45 minutes to go there, 45 minutes to come back, and then to pick him up, going there and back. And after I realized, hey, that's a mission that is not my mission. He can take the bus. Then I had a conversation with him, and I saved whatever, almost 4 hours every time he was going to golf. So miracles are possible, and life can be changed quickly, but in a different way. And that's what I want you to understand. And I want to give you another example. Someone said, Monica, my belief is that you are an amplifier for her own inherent magic healing power. That's nice. Thank you, Monica. So that's a client of ours. She was in our programs for 3 months. And She had tried to sell a plot of her land for a long time, like almost a year, and she wasn't able to. She just had no clients. And all of a sudden, in one day, she had sold, she got the client and she sold. On that same day, her daughter, that was also participating in the programs with her, they were doing them jointly, rented out her apartment that she also could not manage to find tenants for, both in one day, because they both worked on the same teams. They both, obviously, they had some inherited beliefs and fears from in their DNA from the family. They removed them, and then they both achieved what they wanted. So both transformed the same thing. To remember until now, beliefs that you may or may not be aware of are the ones running your life. And you can't escape what you're afraid of. Rather, you attract it. You are not in control of your life. Then who is? Something inside you commands your life, and it's not your mind. And that's what I would like you to understand. And hopefully you will still have the patience to get there. So become aware of it, master it, so you can live very, very well. Most people only believe what they can see, touch, or smell. And I show you this picture. And as you can see, it's a hand, and there is light coming out of this hand. And it's a real picture. But you can't see, or I can't see anything other than the hand and the light. So what is producing the light? It's something that you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot smell, but it's there. How did we get so far? Can you still stay with me? Because I have quite a bit still to go. Yes, no. Is it interesting? Is it valuable? Yes, no. I get a thumb up. Okay. So then we go. So what's happening and what can we do? We are heading towards a wonderful world, and only some people understand and accept and believe this. And I want to show you why this is true. This is an extension that I did to my house. You like it or you don't like it, it doesn't matter. It's what I wanted, I'm happy with it, and that's what matters. But in order to have this, what I consider nice piece extra in my house, was messy. This was horrible. This was dusty. And it was cold because it was done during the winter. And it wasn't pleasant. But in order to get this, I had to go through this. And this is exactly what's happening in the world. In order to live a really wonderful, nice life, we have to go through the shit we're going through right now. And the shit needs to continue because everyone needs to understand the shit. Everyone needs to see it, and everyone needs to be willing and moving towards something else that they could not see until now. That's in front of my house. So I did even more mess after I finished with the porch, the entrance, because I'm building an office at the back of the garden. And in this picture, you see the house as I bought it. But I want to tell you the story of this house very briefly. In January 2019, I separated from my partner, my lover, life partner, Sebastian's dad. That's Sebastian, by the way, my son. And as I told you, the suffering was too big and that pushed me. But we had few months where we decided that we would still live in the same house, and then we would both move. And I waited. At that time, my business wasn't working. I was literally not making any money. I could not get employed myself because I've been an entrepreneur since 2003. I don't know what it is and how it is to work for somebody else. So I wasn't employable. I had no money I had no money coming in, and I had the kids to take care of, and I needed money to pay the rent. I needed money to obviously live. And I was thinking, oh, do I stay in London or do I move back to Romania? But if I stay in London, how do I pay? In Romania, I have a flat, but it's cheaper. I can't, if I rent that out, I can't pay the same here. And in Chiswick, where we live, the minimum rent at the time was £2,000. I wasn't making any money, so £2,000 was huge. And one day, my partner was like, he managed to find something for himself, and he was like trying to push me out of the house. Hey, you're not looking. I was like, I wasn't looking to rent. And I went to see one house that he didn't take. And when I saw, I was like, no, I don't want to live in something like this for 2,000. You get a mess in Chiswick. It's really, or you used to, now it's probably 3,000 or more. And I decided I didn't want to live in such a place. And one day I was taking Sebastian to school on a different route, and I saw this house, and that doesn't look good. You can see it's Chiswick, and that doesn't look like a house in Chiswick. It looks like a little ugly house. And because it looks so ugly, I thought, that's probably not that expensive. I called the agents. I had nobody in the bank, no income. And they came and showed me this house, and they showed me they had brochures for two other houses. One was cheaper and one was more expensive. And I saw this one, a really nice garden at the back, big garden, huge for Chiswick. And then I went to the other one, which was cheaper. I saw that one, it was horrible. And I was like, I don't want to see the third. I'm going to buy this one. And I made an offer. I had nobody, no money, and no income. And guess what? By the end of the year, I bought the house. Yes, I managed to make some financial engineering. And this is how this house looks today, the same house. I extended with a grant, I extended with my money, this piece, but the cladding, the insulation and the cladding was done with a grant. I did not pay anything. It was all free. And now I'm building here at the back an office. And the reason why I tell you this story is because miracles are possible. Single mom, no income in London, no perspectives. I got this house, and I bought it in 2019, December 2019. And this is what it is now. Thank you. And it's getting better and bigger, and it's possible. Now, this is the teaching, this piece. And thank you for the hearts. Thoughts are being transmitted in the universe, and they act. Of course, you don't understand this because nobody's teaching you, but this is the reality. They say this in The Secret, in the movie Secret, but it's much more than this. And your thoughts act and create the reality. But it's not just the thoughts, it's the emotions, fear, it's the words that you use. Everything has an energetic imprint. Everything has a vibration. Everything co-creates. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates. You, the computer I'm using, the table where I am, everything. And what you get in life is what you send into the universe. And that's where most people get it wrong. They believe they need to work harder. They believe they need to learn more, to do more, but it's not the point. The point is that you need to master what you send in the universe, because that's how you get back what you want. And that is really the key. That is. But of course, how do you get there? We move forward. It was the presentation. So if you want something, whatever want you have is on a vibration. The solution for what you want is on the vibration. The problem is, the reason why you don't have what you want is because your vibration is lower. So all you need to do is to raise the vibration from I don't have to where you can get it. And when you match the vibration of what you want, you get it. And the vibration is the thoughts, the emotions, the fear, everything. So the question is, are you aligned with your desires? The answer is no, because if you were aligned, you would get them. It's that simple. And I see what you do in the chat. Are you recording the session? Yes. Yes, I will send it. So everyone wants a good relationship. Most people want a good family, nice family, a good relationship with the partner and the kid. So on one hand, you transmit to the universe, I want a good relationship. But on the other hand, you transmit shit into the universe that gives you the relationship that is not happy, that is giving you conflicts and most people. So what is that shit? Could be a belief that she, the woman, would say men cheat. There are not good men anymore, or there are no good men anymore, or all good men are taken. He has to take care of me and I don't have to do anything. I heard that being said. If you want a king to be taking care of you, you need to be his queen. And the queen has her responsibilities. Another one, men want the dumb blondies. Some people dye their hair blonde. No, that's not the point. But you get what I mean. Men would believe she would leave me because someone in the past left him. Because guess what? Maybe the mother left him, or he felt abandoned somehow, somewhere when he was little. And he's afraid that he's being abandoned again and again and again and again. And the fear of abandonment is translated into the belief that she will leave me. And guess what? She will leave him because of this fear. Or I will lose my independence if I marry her. Or love hurts because, hey, love hurt in the past, it will hurt again. Now we're going into examples of easy permanent change. And I told you about the identity. And now that's a practical, pragmatic example. A busy entrepreneur came to me and his problem was that he didn't have time with the family. Of course, he was working hard because he had many businesses and every business needed his time. And he was providing the nice money for the family, very comfortable, luxurious lifestyle, all the material things that they wanted, but the family was still not happy. And he was like, hey, I give them everything they want and they're not happy. Because what they wanted was the time with him. But he could not give the time with him because he was busy working on the business to provide the material things. So what happened was the identity shift. And I'll explain this. Again, when I connected with him, I saw him as 100% entrepreneur. That's how he saw himself. And if you see yourself as 100% entrepreneur, what do? You put 100% of your focus and your energy into the business. And what happens with everything else? They get whatever, whenever, if. And what we did in the session, we changed the identity from 100% entrepreneur to 70% entrepreneur and 30%, actually 15 husband and 15% a kid or a father or something like that. Basically, we moved some percentages from the 100% entrepreneur to husband and father. And now he's more relaxed, easy by nature, without having to do anything, without having to consciously think, oh, I'm not doing this meeting, I better go spend time with my kid. No, naturally, he spends more time with the kid and the wife and basically the family, because he now operates at some conscious level from both identities. And of course, everyone is happy. So the belief, I am entrepreneur, led to too much work, too busy, unhappy life, unhappy wife, unhappy kid, and unhappy him. And again, that can be done. Oh, sorry, I'm going to get more drops because I've got a cold. Monica said, a lot of people are not satisfied with what they have, and that makes it very difficult to be in line with your desires, goals, and passion, because what you have today is the result from previous thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and so on. Therefore, is gratitude what you have a key, is gratitude for what you have a key. Yes, gratitude plays a significant part of it. Thank you, Monica. So do you want some good news? Yes, no? Let me hear or see. Good news? Good news, anyone? I see a yes, 2 yes, 3 yes, some thumbs up. Okay. So beliefs can be easily changed, literally in a minute or two. And there is no need to suffer. There is no need to feel those emotions again from the past. There is no need to struggle. Fear can be transformed in 10 minutes forever. Any fear. What you need is new tools. And the reason why I mention new tools is because a lot of the people that have especially studied spirituality and personal growth from many, many years ago, they got old tools. Most of those tools don't work anymore or only work to a certain level. So you go from here to here. But now what you need is to go from here to here. And for this, you need different tools. That's what I do, by the way, in my sessions in Rapid Transformation, which I call them, where I connect your aura to your energy and I can identify the beliefs. I take them out, put the opposite back or the stuff you need back. And it's super, super easy. Each action you can take, okay, one action that you can immediately take. Because of course, not everyone will want to do sessions with me. If you want, I'm happy to help every single one of you. But if you want to do something by yourself, you can start asking yourself every time you do something, why am I doing this? And the initial answer will be not the real one. And you'll understand a bit later. You need to uncover the real reason why you're doing what you're doing. Sorry for this. And you can uncover the real reason by asking yourself, why am I doing this few times? Why am I doing this? Why do I really do this? Why do I really do this? And then you'll uncover what's underneath your action or your thoughts. I want to show you another miracle that, of course, proves and confirms and over again that it is possible. I have a flat in central London, and actually that's the one I used to buy the house. So basically I freed a little bit of money there for the deposit, and I rented that one out on interest only, not repayment. And the money that I get, the rent I get there is basically paying for both mortgages. So now I'm like financially free because both mortgages are paying from one rent. When I was renting, I met several agents, and one of them, it's a really nice lady. She's like, well, what do you do? So I said, well, this is what I do. I connect with people and I uncover what's keeping them blocked and stuck, and I remove it. And she's like, oh, can you connect with me? What do you see? Because I told her I have this extrasensorial abilities to see and tell them what they don't know about themselves. So she's like, tell me something I don't know. She was like, So I connected with her. She was in my apartment. And I could see above her head, loads of angels. And they were literally staying there waiting for her to say, come help me. That was all. So I said to her, the angels are there waiting to help you. Call your angel and ask them to help you. And within a few days, she sent me a message, which you find it on, there's lots of testimonials and videos on my website and on my pages with the different programs and sessions. Within a few days, she messaged me on WhatsApp and she said, I can't believe I got 300 million worth of hotels deals just landed in the last few days after I called my angels, as you told me. And then she also said, I got one deal to sell a hotel, 1.6 billion pounds. There are only a few of these hotels ever in London, and I've been appointed as the agent for one of these because she called her angels and asked for help. Monica, if I know what I don't know, what do I know then? Yeah, that's a good question. So if they don't teach you these things in school, it doesn't mean they don't exist. And it doesn't mean I'm cuckoo or weirdo or something. I'm an investment banker, by the way. Former investment banker, former venture capitalist, and former business consultant. So I know the proper stuff, the logical stuff. But this is the reality, what I'm sharing with you now. And it's absolutely fascinating. And the more you learn, the more you understand, the better you feel. Another example, she's a property investor, and she came to me because she was scared of the future. She knew that there is the elite controlling the world, and she was afraid of what they do. She was afraid they take her house. She even sold her house because she was afraid. She wanted to move out of the area where she was because she didn't feel safe in that area, etc. And she had a session with me. The problem was solved, and she stopped. And she was going to protest. And she was like, I'm addicted to the protest. I don't want to spend and waste my time in protest. After one session, she stopped. Fine, happy. And I said to her, which is what I say to every single person that comes to me in my sessions, you need to do it constantly. It's not one session solves your life. It's a process. And the process takes time. And every session, everything you do, it helps. And you get better and better and better and better. You can't go to the highest building to be on top of the highest building with the lift in 2 minutes. It's step by step, whatever you do. And I don't hold everyone to work with me. I'm happy to work with everyone who wants to help with me, but there are loads of other options and programs. We have programs as well. And I said to her, continue working with yourself. Yeah. But she stopped. She didn't do anything because she was happy. And I said, if you don't continue, one of these things will happen. You'll have problems with money or relationships or health, because basically that's what people do. That these are the main areas. And it's not me directing problems. It's what the universe does, as you've seen. 6 months later, she comes to me, Ozana, I need your help because I have heart problems. I went to 5 doctors and I'm scared. And they all told me the same thing, that I have to go for surgery. And I'm afraid of surgery because I'm afraid of whatever they can put into the anesthesia, whatever liquid they use and whatever products or medicines they use. They can put parasites and bad stuff in the anesthesia, and I don't want to be vaccinated because I know that bullshit with the vaccines and stuff. So basically, she could not live without the operation, but she could not take the operation. And the first session, I said, why did you not continue? She's like, I don't know. I could just not do it. And in the first session, there was nothing to do with her surgery or heart or anything like that. What we uncovered was that she was afraid that she would lose her children if she evolves. And once that was uncovered and removed, and we removed much more, I just give you one as an idea, because we do much more in one session. And after we removed that that belief and that fear, she committed to 1 session a week. And 2 or 3 sessions after we started working, she comes to me and she says, I feel like in a washing machine, problem after problem after problem. I resolve one comes out, or something else happens. And I can't, I'm just tired. And what we uncovered was that her mother was resolving problems. So basically, she just copied her mother's belief, or behavior, but it's much more than this. Her father was useless, and what she decided, what you learn in school, what you learn in the school of life, she decided that men are useless, men are worthless. How can you have a proper relationship with a proper man if you believe men are useless or worthless? What kind of men will you attract? Useless or worthless? So she was used to resolving all her problems in her life because she was the only one able to, because that's the reality she was creating. And when we fix this, Mr. R, I call it Mr. Right, although I don't know if it's Mr. Right or not, because that's relatively recent, returned to her. She had a relationship for like 4 years where they were going like this. They were getting closer and apart, and every time she was suffering. And that was her second problem that she came with to me. And she said, Ozana, this time it feels different. This time he's really keen. This time I can feel he's there with me. What had changed? She did not treat him as useless. She did not treat him as worthless. She treated him as useful. She treated him as he's worth it. So she got back a better man, the same man. And that's how we change the reality, by changing the little bugs that are inside us, and then the reality changes. Another belief she had, which again we uncovered in a session, is if I don't constantly resolve problems, my life is worthless. So because she wants to have a worth it life to live, she was the one constantly creating problems. So she could maintain a life that is worth to live rather than worthless. We remove that, we resolve that, she's relaxed because she's not creating problems anymore. She doesn't have that many problems anymore. They come, but not as much. And she also allows others to do their piece. And what happened was that she understood, she realized that she had to let her children solve their problems, because her mom was solving all the problems for the family. She was solving all the problems for all the family, including the children. And what I could see in a session was that the heart was going to stop, literally. And the reason why was because she realized that she had to let her girls solve their problems a while back, but she couldn't. And in her head, she was like, okay, I need to stop my heart so my girls will deal with their problems. Basically, I need to die so that my girls get on with their lives. That's the translation. And that's where she was heading without knowing. And then with the fear of the heart surgery, each doctor was proposing a different treatment and she couldn't decide. And she was like, okay, I understand I have to do something, but I don't know what. And again, in a session, we uncovered that her heart had been used in a satanic ritual in a previous life. If you don't believe about it, think it's DNA, something that she's inheriting. And we healed. Basically, we healed that life and this life has been healed, because at soul level, there is no time, there is no space. When you do something anywhere, it's impacting everything, every aspect of the life right now. We also cleaned the parasites from injections because she was afraid of the injections, and she started feeling better. After session 8, she doesn't need surgery. She saw more doctors. Every single one of them said, there is no need for surgery. And that's how you resolve even health problems, serious health problems. And the relationship with Mr. R is much more promising. She feels better, he feels better, and it's a different dynamic. So energy work can bring miracles. So what's that invisible power? Is your energy, which you don't know you have. You master the energy, and the life becomes way, way better. That's what I do for a living. I told you, it's private sessions and programs. And if you're interested and curious, you can find information about the private sessions online. It's rapid transformation, that's how I call it, because we identify the root cause of whatever the biggest block you have, and we remove it. So why are we living in this chaos? It's really to upgrade ourselves. It's, yes, there is an elite, yes, there is a plan, yes, there is something, but the underlying reason, our creator wants us to upgrade ourselves. And because we don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want a little bit of upgrade, like computer does, we need to be pushed. And that's why we have this chaos that is pushing us. So the change needs to happen inside, so that you get the external change that you want. And it's to bring equilibrium within. But the equilibrium is a huge subject, and I will explain in the forward with this for whoever wants to do that course with me. We need to increase our consciousness, our vibration, and go basically evolve. But evolve from the spiritual point of view. How? Well, most people, and actually everyone, needs material things, and majority of the people are focused 100% on the material things because that's how the society is, that's how we live. Some people don't care about the material things, and they are in the cuckoo world, in the spiritual, the dreaming world, something that most people don't understand. Well, it's time to merge these things together. So it's time for the material people, materialistic people, to get spiritual, and it's time for the spiritual people to get their feet on the ground. And it's possible now, because the energy of the planet is changing, and it's helping us, it's supporting us, it's inviting us to do this merge. And in the same way, it's important to merge the logic with emotions. Some people are logic and they think everything, very rational. Some people are too emotional and they feel everything. And now it's possible, and we need to merge these two together as well. And the third one, most people run their lives with their mind, which is normal. It's what we were educated to know and to believe. Monica says, lucky me, I have 2 legs to stand on. Yay! Well done, Monica. So now it's time to bring in the soul, which most people don't understand. I didn't. And when I hear my business partner explaining about the soul, I still don't get everything. But just accept that we have a soul and we have a mind. And when we connect these two together, that's where the magic happens. That's how we're happy. That's how we can live happy. And it's possible. How? Well, we need to connect ourselves to the source. And it's not by plugging the cable in the wall, but it's similar. We come from the divinity. There is a higher piece, a higher something. I don't want to go into technical for people that don't understand, and I don't want to talk about divinity. So just imagine there is something up there that we come from, and we're a little piece of that something, the divinity, and we need to connect to that divinity because that connection was lost. That was lost many hundreds of years ago. And now there are ways that there are tools that we can use to connect ourselves. How? It's really to understand and master energy. And that's the invisible force that runs your life. And how? Again, it's by practical spirituality as lifestyle. It's not meditations. It's not affirmations. It's not yoga. It's a combination of everything that makes sense for you. You don't have to do any of these. You do whatever makes sense for you. But the reality is that most people in the spiritual world, they live in this cuckoo world, they understand this thing or they feel these things, but they are missing a lot in their material world, in their proper life, well, physical life. Because the spirituality they practice, that they do, is not practical. So you need the practical spirituality in the life as a lifestyle. It's something that you see results and see improvements in your life as and when you practice and you do something. And you need to find a system and the guide and the tools that work for you. All tools are not working. There are plenty of new tools. I have some. I'm happy to help you. And there are many other options. Everyone can find their own things. Of course, I want you to work with me, and I'll show you the 3 sessions that I do. So this one, the aura transformation, is the most practical one because it's rapid results and you can understand. This one, reconnective healing, it gives immediate results, but you just stay and receive energy, healing energy that brings balance, and you don't know what's going on. And for a mind that is like, oh, I need to understand, I need to know, that doesn't make sense. You only may or may not feel something. The results are seen at some point. So depending on where you are, that's why most people prefer this one. And then the reconnection is something that I do to reconnect people to the source, to the divinity. And that's the only one that is done in person. So you've got to be in Chiswick, in London, or somewhere. We need to meet somewhere. These 2, I do them online. I only do them online via Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever people want. So do you want the solution? Then you need to look at the solution for the solution rather than looking at the problem. And the reason why I'm saying is that most people look at the problem. Oh, this is not working. Oh, this guy did that. Oh, this happened. Oh, look at them. Look at what they do. That's the problem. As long as you look at the problem, you have the problem. If you want to look at if you want to get the solution, you need to look elsewhere. Search for the solution. And not everyone is ready for transformation. I understand. Not everyone is ready for energy work. I also understand. And that's why if you want to understand more of this, if you want to continue your journey with me, I invite you to be part of a workshop, which I call Plan Your Life. And another one, which is Forward with Ease. These are 2 workshops I run, all online. And some people call them coaching, some people call them mastermind. It's basically a guided thinking. It's questions, answers, adjusting, realizing, oh, this doesn't make sense. Okay, I change, I transform. And it's an evolution journey. And I like to be your guide. And it's all interactive. Question, answer, oh, okay, what about this? What about this? So it's like kind of one-to-one, but it's a small group. And we start using energy tools. We start using tools that anyone can use anytime. Super, super simple. You don't need any initiation, which is what we give for a bit more complicated, sophisticated tools. This is super, super simple what we use, and you take them once you understand, you can use them anytime. As I said, it's online via Zoom, and I want to do them every Thursday evening from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Although it might be a bit more or a bit less. And I put on the screen the proposed date. So I want to start the next session, the next series next week, and then continue. And I also record everything, of course, and the recordings are available for 30 days because there is research that says that if you have constrained on the time that you can use something like recordings in 30 days, you're much more willing and likely to interact with those recordings if you need them. If they are offered forever, most people don't use them because they know they're there. And also, from the energetic point of view, the reason why I only offer the recordings for a limited period is because I don't want to make a promise forever. That's bad. That's like opening a box, a black box for energy to suck energy from me. Everything I do, it's for a limited time period because I don't want to have any of these open pipes that suck energy from me. And everyone is 497. Hopefully understand that I'm not a cuckoo living in the spiritual world. I am former investment banker and business consultant. I am an advisor to the business school that I attended. It used to be called CAS Business School, and now it's called Bayes Bayes University. It's in the city of London. And I do different talks here and there. I'm a businesswoman and different awards. I get invited to different media outlets for events. I used to represent Tony Robbins. I chose not to anymore because I don't want to be in that environment anymore. I'm the only woman that was the woman and the only Romanian on stage at Wealth Masters Tour with Robert Kiyosaki. And it's all good and wonderful, but I also had my challenges. And because I had my challenges, they helped me be the one who I am today. This villa that you can see, half of it I bought in Bucharest in the Mayfair equivalent, so the nicest area in Bucharest, and it was repossessed back in 2008 when the property crisis happened, and I had no idea the plan, what was going on. I bite at the offers of the banks. I took a big loan, which I could not pay. And anyway, it was horrible, but I learned from that experience. I also am the person that made 100,000 euros in a day, 200,000 euros in a day. And I lost, when the house was sold, 350,000 euros one day when the house was sold on auction, repossessed. I wrote a book, which I published on Amazon. Jerry Robert wrote the foreword for my book and also came to my book launch. He's got the publishing house, and they generated over $100 million from publishing books. So he is a name in the industry, and the book became bestseller on Amazon. Then I turned it into 7 volumes on business, Business Unlimited. And more recently, I wrote another book, only in Romanian for now, The Illusion of Freedom and the Invisible Power, which again became bestseller on Amazon. I was voted in top 100 women in tech in Silicon Valley because I launched Tooliers, a platform with business growth tools in Silicon Valley. And what's most important is that I am happy. I do live a happy life, fulfilled and happy and enjoying every moment of my life. So I'm a happy mom with a happy son. I'm a happy woman, and I'm a happy partner with a happy partner. How did I start my journey to light? I told you back in January 2019 when the relationship from the previous partner ended. It was bad anyway, but the ending was dramatic, and that pushed me to search, and I am where I am today. And I discovered my biggest gifts. And I now know that the biggest suffering that anyone has leads to the greatest gifts. All you have to do is start questioning, searching, and working on yourself, understanding energy, changing, transforming yourself. That's all you have to do. And you can live an amazing life too. As I said, I discovered that I have this inner gifts to connect with the person and do this woohoo stuff. See images, see blockages, get to the cause, the root cause, remove them, change them. And it's very, very easy for me, and it's still fascinating. And I understand that's how the movies are actually written. People connect in this quantum field or Akashic records or whatever you want to call it, and you get information. And all these scientific movies have this kind of insights from this quantum field. And we also created with my partner in Romania, as I said, the transformational program called Fully Alive. It's a 3-year program. It's not for everyone, but if you really want to be super, super happy, that's 3 years. It takes 3 years to get there. You can patch, you can get bit by bit. Every session, everything you do gives you more joy, more freedom, more fun. And if you want to be in true power, that's what it takes. So how are we doing? Do you want more insights, or are you tired? Monica says that is exactly how it works. Can I give you more? Can you stay with me? Yes, no? I want to give you more if you want. Yes, please. Okay. More hands up. Okay. So everyone thinks, but you can't really get the right results. You can get the right thinking, but the wrong results, because it's based on the wrong beliefs. So you need to change the beliefs. Everyone is educated, everyone wants to educate, everyone constantly educates, or many people constantly educate. But what's happening really is most people consume random information from everywhere, and it's just too much information. Most people analyze, which is normal and great, but with the best analysis tools and the best analysis in the world, they can't tell what's true and what's good, what's lie and what's not lie. And the reason why is because everywhere, everyone says, either creates a lie, but even if they are well-intended, and most people are well-intended, they only talk from their point of view based on where they are in their evolution. And if you remember the picture with the city of London, with the big buildings, if they are at the first level, they give what they understand from that first level. If they're here, they give from this perspective. If they're here, they give from this perspective. If they're here, they give for this. So everyone has their own perspective. Everyone sees only from one set of eyes, because that's what it is. And that's why it's so much conflicting information, and that's why it's so hard to understand and gather the truth and the good. But when you connect to the higher consciousness, to the divinity, that's where you get the truth. That's only truth. But you need to do a process to be able to do that. And then you just know. You don't need anyone to confirm or tell you. You know. And it's wonderful when you are in that power. So people act, of course, but they do random actions, and it's not properly planned because they don't know how to plan, because they don't know what to do. And again, it's the limitations that run in the subconscious mind that pull them away or in directions that are not necessarily right for them. And that's why it's hard. That's why it's hard to obtain what you want to obtain. And most people are stuck because at whatever level, they don't trust themselves. In whichever shape and form, there is something that they don't like about themselves, they don't trust about themselves, and they're not happy with themselves. And that's one of the key slides, one of my favorite slides. Everyone likes a villain. And if you think about it, a movie without a villain is boring. And after a little while, you stop looking because it's nothing interesting. And in real life, or what we call real life, people search for villains or invent villains or just point at villains. So who is your villain? Could be the boss, oh, that doesn't appreciate my work or doesn't see that I'm doing this and this and this and this. Could be the colleague that is constantly taking credit for my work or not supporting me or whatever. Could be the husband that is not as lovely and wonderful as it used to be. Could be the clients that don't really understand the value I bring through my programs or through my product or through my service, and they don't buy. Could be the system, could be the authorities, could be the politicians, could be the Rothschild or the Bill Gates or the reptiles or the cabal, or you know the whole story if you are in the box number 2. Could be those who don't understand what's happening, and that is so frustrating for many people to see. They understand certain things about the world and how it's run and how it's governed, and they are so frustrated when they see people in the office or in the family that don't understand, and they are the bad people because they don't want to wake up. And then, of course, in the pandemic, the non-vaccinated, the ones that didn't want to do the shots or the mask or whatever, were the villains to the ones who wanted to. And the ones that vaccinated are the villains to the ones that didn't vaccinate, and so on. So, who is your villain? That's a question for you while I take a sip of my cold tea. Will you write for me, please, in the chat box? No one has a villain here? Or are you not with me anymore? Or you don't like it because I'm pointing at you? And you start to understand that you're blaming somebody else for your lack of happiness and success and whatever you lack. So the villain is always a reflection of yourself. Monica, yes, you're absolutely right. It's just that most people haven't got there yet. You're a few steps ahead of everyone here. Perhaps my relatives who don't understand where I am. Exactly. The clients don't understand the value I offer. The boss doesn't understand the hard work I do. And the relatives don't understand where I am. That's the same thing. Yourself and your beliefs. Yes, that is right. The villain is in the mirror. That is right. Maybe just my mind and my limits. That is right. So yes, these are the true villains. And I'm very proud of you guys, all of you who interact here and answer, because that is true. Truth is that people that blame it on somebody else, the client, the boss, the relatives, or whatever, they end up in the same situation with another person. Now, who is the savior? Most people expect somebody else to save them. And a lot of the people, especially in Romania, they're like, oh, God is going to save us. God is returned. Jesus is returning and is going to save us. Or the politician, oh, not this corrupt one. That one is the good one and is going to save us. Oh, the white hats, they are doing all sorts of things now with the military, with to uncover the bad guys. They are putting them in prison. They are judging them. Oh, Trump is going to come into power in the US and it's going to change and it's going to put all these bad people into courts. The savior is my partner. He's going to change. He's going to understand. He's going to buy me a nice car, or he's going to buy a new house, etc. No, the boss will see that I do a good job and he's going to promote me and give me a nice bonus, etc. Or the business class, that was mine. I remember my first deal when I started working on myself. We were raising finance. And one of my first clients was to build a biomass plant. And he introduced me to the technology provider. So we were talking in three. He didn't speak English, so I had a little bit some role of project development as well as the financing, the corporate finance advisory. And the guy didn't pay. He paid my first invoice, and then the second he didn't pay. And I was like, please pay my invoice, pay my invoice. And I went to the tech guy, to the guy providing the technology, saying, hey, look, this is what the guy is doing. He's not paying my invoice. Please help. I'm like, at the time, that's what I knew. He doesn't care about me. He could sense that the guy had no money and had no intention to pay anyway, and he withdrew from the deal. But I thought he was going to save me because I couldn't save myself. And some people believe that the aliens are going to save us. The only savior that you have is yourself. And you've got to understand this. No one will change your life. No one will help you other than yourself. You are responsible and you are your savior, and you can. Now, the strategy that everyone deploys, hope strategy. Oh, I hope that the boss will see how wonderful I am. I hope to get that job. Yeah, I submitted my application to only 3 jobs because I hope to get one of them. No, I don't want to search more for jobs because I hope this one will work. Well, let's see what happens. Oh, I hope my husband or my wife or partner is going to treat me better and is going to change so he can improve the relationship. Oh, I hope the tree doesn't fall off on my house. I don't need to cut it. I just hope it stays there for a few more years until I have the money to cut the tree. Oh, I hope crypto is going to go up, etc. I hope things get better. Worst strategy everyone deploys, the hope strategy. So that needs to stop. So now, after all this incursion, is there a plan? Yes, there is. There is a small number of people running, owning most of the planet or assets on the planet, and they have a plan, and the plan that is not really nice for us. But who is behind their plan? My view is that God's universe, divinity, creator, whatever you want to call it, is behind the plan. And same as the elite that are now running the world and doing all the masquerade with the 15-minute cities and the Woolers in London, and of course the equivalent in other countries, they use others that they don't do. They just make the plan and they get others to do. I believe that behind those people that make the plan, the humans, there is the divinity that has a better plan for us and is using Mr. Bill Gates and the others to squeeze us so we awaken, so we understand all of this, we increase our vibration and our consciousness, and we live well, we live a wonderful life. Is it another cycle? I believe so. I believe there are many cycles, and there are loads of people explaining. I consume that kind of information, and I believe that there is a 26,000 years cycle, sun, moon, blah. There is 250, 100 years cycle where the power changes on planet Earth. There is 100-year cycles for something else. There are 18-year cycles for real estate and so on. And now it's just many of these cycles are merging together. So that's why it's an important point for the humanity. Aliens, I think it's just ego of those people that believe we are alone in the universe. I believe that we are not alone in the universe. And guess what? If there are aliens somewhere in the universe, it's very possible that they are amongst us. It's just that they are smarter, more developed, and we don't see them, we don't perceive them. But I believe they are here. And some of them are good, some of them are bad. And there is a battle, from my point of view, between aliens, between good aliens and bad aliens. Something else, it's beyond our comprehension. My view is that we need to understand or to start looking, not just like, oh, this is my house, this is my family, this is my job, this is my business, that's what I do. It's beyond the country where I live, it's beyond the continent, it's beyond the planet Earth, it's in the universe. And it's way more. If we look at if we start to look and understand soul, our source, our spirit, is just a whole new opening to many possibilities and to a beautiful life. Some people are ready to learn about this, some people are not. Getting to learn the soul and your connection with the divinity, it's the solution to everything. But not everyone is yet ready to get it. So, who can live a beautiful life? Those who change inside. And that's how the self-selection happens. And it's not about the survival of the fittest that used to be in the past. It's the survival of the one that is most adaptable. The survival of the one that can change, can cope with change with grace, joy, and ease, can transform because they want to transform, they want to evolve, not because they're forced to. That's the self-selecting happening now. From my point of view, everyone has two choices. The choice one is going into the dark, into suffering, or continuing more and more suffering, or going towards the light, understanding the soul, working with the soul, or meeting with the soul and everything that comes with it, seeking light, finding light, and bringing light into their lives and the lives of the others, which is what I chose and which is why I'm here right now. From my point of view, the reset is really either done by others, with people that don't do anything. They basically, if they don't choose light, they chose darkness. And the reset, the global reset, is done by others on them. Or if you choose light, okay. Why did I get that thing right now? Because the consciousness of people in this call is still not accepting light. More people in this call are still into the dark. And that's why the screen froze or something happened. That's how the universe talks to us. The little things which you say, oh, it's just a technical glitch. No, nothing is random. That was the message from the universe. Whoever is ready to receive, you'll decide. So if you want to create your destiny, your life, you need to choose light, because otherwise you don't have control in your life and others will control your life. Create your own destiny only with light. Everyone has the choice. You can do it now, you can do it after you get more pain, you can do it, or you can never do. If you don't choose, you chose dark. So, questions to ask yourself to get what you want. And Monica kind of stepped into this a little bit. What is it that I don't know? Question number one. Question number two, what is it that I don't know and I think I know? Question number three, what is it that I don't know and I don't know that I don't know? Everyone needs to ask these questions. So now going back to the three broad categories, from my point of view, the indifferent ones, the ones that are like, oh, okay, I run my life, I don't care about anything else. They believe they are too small to change and too small to achieve much, too small to get more out of life. They can't change and they won't change. And they also believe, oh, that's not my problem, what's happening in the world. That's the politicians, that's the government, that's somebody else. Yeah, I just need to go to work, get my money and come back home and watch a video at the end of the evening. Nothing else is my problem. And they end up others deciding for them. And they believe they decide, but hopefully you understand that they don't. The conspiracy people, they can't tell what's true because it's a lot of lie infiltrated in everything that is in this field. They never, ever get the truth. They get bits of the truth combined with bits of the lie. And because it's combined, it doesn't make any sense and it doesn't help them. So if it doesn't help them, okay, you learn. This is planned, this is planned. They want to do this, they want to do, oh, so what? They just waste their time consuming this kind of information. Yeah, I know it's fun, it's diversity, but it's still wasting time that you can invest in changing yourself, in raising your consciousness, your vibration, because that's where the solution is. And what's worse, it's that they feed the beast. Literally, every single piece of content that you consume, if you are in that category, you consume, you are feeding them. You're giving the elite more power and you are contributing to their plan. When I understood this, I stopped consuming. I didn't stop 100%. I detached completely. And once in a week, I may watch something that my boyfriend says, oh, this is interesting, you need to watch. I'm interested in one particular thing, and that's the legal system and how to get out of the legal scam. Some people don't want to know about it, and I'm not going to enter into details more. Now, the spiritual people, they want to save the world, but they can't save themselves, and they are still struggling. Majority, they are still struggling. And as I said, most actions and whatever they do and most tools that they use don't lead to results because they're old and they're not complete. Something is missing. Because spirituality, and that's something that I personally came up with, was the definition or the understanding. And then I heard Greg Braden saying the same thing at the conference last weekend in London. And spirituality is not about prayer or meditation or affirmation, any of these. These are tools that can work for 1% of the people using them. Spirituality is really about your relationship with yourself. The relationship between your inner masculine and inner feminine, that isn't just one session just explaining that. Relationship with your children, which has meaning and implications and lessons. The relationship with your mother, which is the equivalent of relationship with Mother Earth, with the material world. Relationship with your father, that is the equivalent of a father from the heaven, the universe, evolution, divinity. Relationship with money, relationship with past, the relationship with present, relationship with future. It's a whole understanding, and all these relationships need to be in equilibrium because it's all about equilibrium. That's the stuff that they should teach in school, really, if they wanted to prepare us for a proper good future, not the useless things they teach. Anyway, for the spiritual people, you need to understand that we have a let's say, own consciousness and common consciousness. And unfortunately, we all have this consciousness of struggle, sacrifice, lack, drama, fight, etc. And until we get out of that consciousness, we cannot live a good life. You need to get out of the consciousness of struggle, the consciousness of sacrifice, the consciousness of play, etc. Basically, let's just take an example, sacrifice. Everyone sacrificed something for something. Usually it's the mother sacrificing for the kid. Oh, I'm going to do this for my kids. That's a sacrifice. But the wife can sacrifice for the husband, or the woman can sacrifice the family life for the career or for the money, for the business. One way or another, there is a sacrifice in every single one of us. It's inherited from generations and generations, and it's our consciousness. So that's what we need to focus on. And it's a karmic imprint. And the karmic imprint requires different tools that were not really used or in the public domain until recently. And the old tools only go to, let's say, potentially help you manage emotions or fears, change a limitation or something. The real tools and the real work is after that, when you work in the soul or with the soul, in the consciousness. That's the real transformation, and that's what you need to do if you've done other transformation in the past. Yes, it sounds complicated for the ones that are only learning about this thing right now, but it's possible and it's easy. You just need to commit yourself to do it. That's all. So what's to do? What do we do? What do we do to be happy? We need to be in the middle. That's my view. And you don't have to believe with me. That's what I decided, I chose, and I realize it's good and it's working for me. What's being in the middle? It's moving from being indifferent, like, well, I don't care what's happening in the world, to understanding a little bit of the conspiracy, to understanding that there are some people doing some harm to the planet and to the humans and to the children and etc. Then to move to the spirituality and understand you have a soul and there is a divine you, everything that I just explained in the last, whatever, half an hour or so. And from the spirituality, full circle, to move to indifferent, not to be stuck in any circle, and in fact, move in between. So you need to be in this circle in between. So you have a little bit of indifference, a little bit of conspiracy, and a little bit of spirituality. That's when you can live a much better life, because the way you interact with the world and what's happening and what's coming, and it's from a detached point of view, knowing that it's not harming you. Yes, it will harm lots of people, but not you. When you are in here, when you met your soul, like properly understood and work with your soul and transformed the stupid stuff that we all carry, you're here, they can't touch you. Because remember, when I said earlier, problem is on this vibration, solution is on this vibration. The attack on humanity is on whatever vibration. Once you go with your vibration above, they cannot touch you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it's not a bomb now going in Gaza or whatever, or even closer to you. What it means is that it is not affecting you, and you'll be able to accommodate, adjust, adapt, move on, be happy. That's the solution. That's the only solution from my point of view, with understanding the legal system, the financial system, etc. So, can I challenge you further? Every hope leaves a back door open for failure, which causes a wind to the front door. So it risks to close itself. Only trust have just front doors open. Beautiful, Monica. Really nice. Very wise words indeed. So, can I challenge you just a little bit more? Yes, no? Oh, I mean your words. Thank you. Thank you. Are you still with me? Yes, no? Where are we? Waiting for more. Ulrika is hungry for more. Okay, so I can see some thumbs up. Okay, so I told you about people not knowing what they want or wanting the wrong things. So now I'm going to give you some examples. Oh, sorry. To prove that people don't want what they say they want. I had this guy coming to me and saying he's a follower, and he's like, Ozana, I'll give you a big chunk of the money I get. Just help me sell this land. I want to sell this land. I'm like, okay, I'll give €1 for it. Sell it to me. Oh, you don't want to sell it for €1. You want to sell it for the right amount of money. So it's not about selling. It's selling for the right amount of money. but it's not it's not the money that you want either. It's what you do with that money. So this guy had made scenarios. He's single and he can't have a relationship. He's made scenarios in the head. Okay, I can, if I sell this land, I can buy this house, I can buy this car, and I can have a relationship. If this happens, is there a correlation between selling the land and having a girlfriend? No, but he's making it in his head and he believes that's what he wants, to sell the land. But the truth is, he wants a relationship, a good relationship. I want a bigger house, the same thing. Why? What is the bigger house giving you? Oh, you can invite friends and you can show off that you made money and you are so well off, and people will appreciate and will respect you more. So you want more respect and appreciation from your neighbors? Not a bigger house. I want to go on vacation to relax. And what happens? Most people go on vacation and they're more tired on Monday morning after the vacation. Because it's not about relaxing in vacation. It's really not working that hard so you can enjoy the vacation, not to just be flat out doing nothing. I want a car like my boss. No, you don't want a car like your boss. You want the prestige and the respect that your boss has. And you associate them together in your mind. I want $1 million. That's a cliche. And I've had so many people coming to my workshops on business. I want to make $1 million. Why? Because people believe $1 million will give them what they want in life. Reality is, it doesn't. They don't know what to do with that $1 million. And what they want is peace and happiness and fulfillment. And just being able to drink a beer or a cocktail or a coffee by the river, looking at the water or the nature. That's what people want. Not $1 million, but they believe that $1 million will give them X, Y, Z. And by the way, people want peace because there is no peace inside, because there is conflict inside. So in order to get the peace, you need to sort out the conflict that is inside you. Business owner. A lot of business owners or entrepreneurs in the making or established, I want more clients. No, nobody wants more clients, because more clients is more hustle. They want more money. They want more profits. I want a business strategy that works. That's what someone came to a business workshop of mine. I'm quite well known in the industry in Romania. People were talking about me and they were referring my workshops. And one guy said to me, "Oh, I want a good business strategy that works from you because I know you're a business guru." I'm like, "No, you don't want a business strategy. What do you really want?" I was like, "Oh, I want to make more money." That's what he wanted. And then if you go further, okay, why do you want more money? So you're happy. Because in the end, everyone wants happiness, but they associate all of this with happiness. Someone said to me, "Oh, I want to have a big office and many employees. So what's your business about?" "Oh, I don't know yet." He's already thinking like, "Oh, I want the prestige of having this office there, like somebody else that I know. And I want more employees because that will make me look good." But he doesn't know what business to make. Scenarios are endless. If I obtain X, I get Y. My first client in London was someone that I don't want to give details so that can be identified. So that person bought a house, the family, the husband and the kids, they bought a house and they refurbished. And they were expecting to be happy when they move in that house. The moment they moved in that house, they started arguing. Within a month, they decided to break up, and within a year, she was divorced. Because she, in their heads, both her and him, they're like, "Oh, when we own the house, and that house that is nice, and we do it the way we want, we will be happy." No. If the relationship is fucked, the house, the bigger house, the better house is not going to fix the relationship. That's the trap that I went to as well. And all of these are at conscious and most often subconscious level. So the old way to get things done, to get what you want, is hard, takes time, you struggle, and there is no guarantee. The new way, it's easy. It's not easy, it's with ease. It's from the relaxation, from the like, yeah, okay, I want to manifest X and it happens. It's with ease. That's how you manifest. And for this, it's different tools, and you can live your life with grace, with joy, in joy, and be fulfilled. Question is, are you ready to upgrade yourself? That's really what matters. If you are, I invite you to come to the Plan Your Life, the workshop that I mentioned, and discover the path to ease, with ease, towards what you want. And as I said, I plan to do 2 workshops. One is Plan Your Life, and one is Forward with Ease. It's a process, a guided process towards your evolution. It's interactive and it's fun because you understand and realize, have aha, and like, oh, the light goes up. We start using energy tools, and it's online every Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. GMT, London time. Thank you for the heart, whoever is giving it to me, starting next week, and recordings are available 30 days after, during the workshops and 30 days after we finish. It's $497 each. And I have to tell you, they are not for everyone. Yes, you can achieve much more, and I would love everyone from the call to come here, to come and work with me. I want to make an impact, and I want to take your money. That's simple. But it's not for the people that still want to struggle, that still want to achieve whatever, struggling, fighting, and with anxiety and fear and frustration. It's only for the people that want to go to the top, achieve what they want with ease, and change their lives. As I said, many people are still attached to struggle and suffering. And if that's you, you will not really enjoy the workshop unless you're willing to detach from the struggle and from the suffering. So if you want to live well, and if you want to give it a go, have miracles and achieve things with ease, then join both courses. The information is on the website, and it's 497 times 2 because it's 497 each. And it is 994, both of them. And I know some people go, that's too much. And if you think it's too much, then just ask yourself, how much is your life worth? More or less than 994? That's you thinking. And it's with comma because it's what some people have in their minds. Some people are like, I know what I want. I just need XYZ to happen. I need the stars to align to get XYZ and to get what I want. Guess what? You won't get it that way. No, the world is changing. It's too much uncertainty. I can't plan. I can't really decide what I want. That's too many factors. Well, if you're not even setting an intention to what you want, if you don't even have a vision for your life, it's very unlikely you won't get even the things that you can get with ease. Then someone said to me, oh, can I do it? And I said, no, that's the wrong question. The right question is, are you ready to do it? Because if you're ready, you can. Everyone can. Only you need to decide that you want. That's all. And a lot of people will, how much does it cost to work with you? Or, this much. Or, I'm not sure I have this money now, etc. If you think that way, you live in scarcity consciousness, and that needs to change because you will attract more lack. You lack something. And of course, some people don't have the money or think they don't have the money or don't have the time or think they don't have the time. Because the real reason, what's behind those thoughts, is that I don't value myself enough. And if that's true, you need to know what to do now. And a lot of people are, yeah, I'll do it later. Because behind this, I'm still attached to struggling, to suffering, to lack, and I don't want to let it go. And the moment of truth is now. You will decide. And a lot of people were like, oh, I've just seen you for the first time. Who are you? Well, it doesn't matter. I am who I am. I've been through struggle. What I learned is not that important as it is my own transformation. And what I do from my own transformation. And because I transform myself, because I upgraded myself, then I'm qualified to upgrade and guide others to upgrade. But you have the right to question, you have the right to look online, search, that's plenty of information around me. If you question this, it's probably that you don't believe you're ready yet. Because most people, the mind is the one still running the show, and your mind wants to keep you safe and prevents you from change. And that's why most people are still not ready to embark on a transformation. Now, my promise for you today, and I didn't go that much over. So, different perspective and understanding of the world we live in. Did I achieve this? Yes, no. So I'll read all of them, and then please let me know if I achieved them or not, or tell me the one that I haven't achieved. The real reasons why we are not here, why we are here in this chaos and mess, and what we can do to improve things. Next, why you didn't get all that you wanted and how to get it. Why it's almost impossible to know the truth, what's good, what's bad, what's lie, what's not. Great news for the future of self-selected people. The best question 3 to ask yourself. The strategy that everyone deploys that leads nowhere and you need to stop, and that's the hope strategy. The most important thing to focus on so you're always happy, and that's your own evolution. The invisible force that runs your life, that's your vibration, your energy. Master it so you live well. So if you are committed to change and live better, I do have a special offer for those who are ready. And that's to do the workshop, Plan Your Life, to the workshop Forward with This, and one session, private session with me, the one where we rapidly transform what's in between you and what you want.